Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And no James Farley this week, but you know what that means? It's Sarah Dyer.
Oh.
Matt Murray is terrified. It's Sarah Dyer. It's Sarah Dyer.
He's met me in person now. He can't be terrified still.
Even more terrified.
Yeah, but how much did you want to smack him?
Even though I was like towering over him.
Sarah, you met me. Get it right. Halfway around.
When you saw him, Sarah, did you realise how much of how little Fret he is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you, look at him and just go, that's not a problem?
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. Like, I kind of expected that, but I was like, it's good to confirm it.
Wow.
What? You're telling me I didn't look threatening holding that pint glass watching a 24-inch TV of football when there's actual live music happening outside?
Yeah, absolutely not. Like it's always wild when you're in like situations like that where obviously normally watching football was the cool thing to do, and then when I realised it was a load of people watching football, I was like, oh, this is where all the losers are hanging out then, watching your silly little game.
Yeah, because I'd seen you tweeted saying you're looking out for me, but I had no reception, couldn't load the image. But then when I was just watching that and I saw you do a double take, I'm like, oh, this is probably the wrong place for her to see me just with 24 other random dudes watching the
it's the fact that you weren't even there like with the rest of your friends, that you'd like sacked your mates off to go and watch football.
Well, really? Matt?
Hang on, is that just what he told you? I said, no, I've got loads of mates.
I've got loads of mates here, yeah.
There's somewhere else. They're all in the pit. They're all in the pit. I'm going to go join them, actually.
Oh, I've got bloody loads of them. Sick of them in a way. Because they were into football, and I'm like, look, I've heard Man City are 2 goals down. I've got to watch this, and so I left.
Okay.
Anyway, good times.
They never existed, did they? I've started. I just worked that out as well.
Yeah. Did
this
you just?
Stag do you've been going on about that you just went on didn't happen, did it?
Yeah. The photos after the show. Did you just like find some random people and just be like, I need to just pretend that I'm here with some mates?
He just gets one of those AI things.
Yeah,
one of those AI things to do it. It's dead easy. Just type it in. Just generate some for you. It's fine.
Deepfake friends.
All my friends are really real. They're 100% real. Just,
all my friends are really real. I think we might have an episode title already.
My God.
And that's before we announce the Patreon producers this month. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Happy Birthday Sam and Neil, Gabsy, Rocketman76, Rex Reese, Happy New Year Sam, Love from Neil, Grey Dragon Claw, Fred Fenge, Smooth Monkey, Happy Mother's Day Sam, Love from Dr. Farley, Sexy Fan, Don Whiskerano Rando, and Friend of the Show, a new Full Nels member, Friend of the Show. Is that who I think it is?
I don't believe it is, no.
Why do you think it is?
Is it not? Well, we've got a friend of the show.
Wait, who do you think it is? Can you not say?
Well, no, because they can't have their name in this bit, can they? Because they haven't paid for it.
Yeah.
So I know he's sitting there.
Breach, so
yeah, if we go to our Discord, we'll be able to see comments on this part of the show already. If it's who I think it is, patreon.com/TCGS. If you want to support us, there are various different tiers there, but the best one is the Full Nels tier, in my opinion. I've looked at them all, Sean.
Yeah,
I've looked at them all, and I've decided that the best one's the Full Nels one.
Yeah, it's an honest assessment. You know, they didn't even look at the prices of them, just based on what you get.
No. It was like there was a Cup A, Cup B, Cup C.
Yeah. It's like, there's nice restaurants where they give you the menu and you're like, oh, there's no prices on it, because if you have to ask how much stuff is, it means you shouldn't be in there. It's the same deal with our Patreon, you know?
Yeah, exactly the same. We have some extra TCGSCON tickets. Honestly, RJ, I might not even announce this because they're probably gone by the time this podcast goes out. But if you are thinking of coming, then quickly, you want to get in there because they're nearly gone. tcgs.co/TCGSCon. Matt, we launched our Pride merch on sale throughout June. Do you want to go into details?
Yeah. We've got a bunch of stuff on sale. Men's t-shirts, women's t-shirts, unisex sweatshirts, hoodies, even a tote bag with a Pride-inspired TCGS logo. And they're only on sale in June, all proceeds of which are going to Mermaids, which is a fantastic charity. So, go over there. if you want to get some lovely Pride-related TCGS merch. And yeah, you can only get it in the month of June, so don't miss out.
And it's mermaidsuk.org.uk if you want to go and see what mermaids are up to. That's who we're supporting.
Absolutely.
Now, before we get to the feedback, I've got my own little bit of feedback from last week, because I pointed out that we had a guest on and we opened the show by talking about how amazing we were. And I said, well, it's a bit embarrassing. We shouldn't really do that. But let me tell you this. I went to Butlins this weekend with the family. We went to see Stephen Mulhern live. Yeah, he was doing a live show, and he opened it with a 5-minute video about how amazing he is.
Whoa.
I'm not even kidding. So I thought, maybe this is actually the professional fit. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Stephen Mulhern I like the guy. I thought he was brilliant. He did a brilliant show. The kids loved it, right? We really got into it. It was very funny. Right, but the first 5 minutes was a video that said things like the only magician to do the Royal Variety Show 3 times, and then it just kept cutting to Ant and Dec going, Stephen Mulhern, super funny, like reviews coming up about how amazing he was, and I just thought, if I'm hit, like, Stephen Mulhern's pretty famous, right?
Yeah, he doesn't need that kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of.
He doesn't need that at the start.
We know you are.
Turn up and just go.
He also doesn't need it at the start of his show because, like, you're already there.
You're there.
You've already bought the ticket. He doesn't need to convince you.
We didn't buy a ticket. It was just like
he's just trying to convince you not to leave.
No, he wanted to sell you his merch, which was madness. A lanyard with a picture of his face on the lanyard, right? 15 quid. 15 quid for that one.
Sorry, is that you're saying cheap or expensive?
That's expensive, Matt. Surely.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to change some TCGSCON plans.
Well, this is the thing. It says he explained. He said the lanyard is, at the back of it's got a QR code, and if you scan it with your mobile phone, we'll teach you how to do 15 tricks. Right? That was the idea behind this thing. I scanned it when we got back today. It just took you to an unlisted YouTube video. That was it. So Harry just sat and watched like a 10-minute video of Stephen Mulhern. And what was so funny about it is that the secret to every one of his trick involves like 2-sided sticky tape. Like he kept saying it. Look, these coins have disappeared. You get your double-sided sticky tape. But I was like, every fucking trick is double-sided sticky. It's as if he's got some sort of shares involved in double-sided sticky tape and he's trying to shift it. But anyway, Stephen Mulhern, I was a big fan of him, still am. It was weird that he did a 5-minute presentation about how brilliant he was before he started his show. And all that tells me, Sean, is that maybe that's what we should be doing. Yeah. And maybe that's what I'm going to have to now work on, because we've spoken about this and we've got a live show in a few weeks. Maybe we do a Stephen Mulhern type video where we big ourselves up for 5 minutes before it starts.
It's just, if we want the audience to believe in us, we've got to show that we believe in ourselves first. That's simple.
Could you imagine if we did that 5 minutes and I come onto the stage crying? Wasn't that wonderful?
Can you get people to like send in video submissions talking? Because if Stephen Mulhern had the bits of like Ant and Dec, you guys need other people, I guess. And you need visuals at least. So.
We should do this.
We've got the guy that does the Master Chief's voice. We've got him saying catchphrases from our show, so that's good.
We'll use that again.
We've got Dominic Diamond saying the computer game show.
Who?
We could just cut out the bit where he says, what the fuck is that? Right? We could cut that bit out and just have him going, the computer game show.
Wait. Who?
Did you say who?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Dominic Diamond.
This is...
Okay, also, you're doing the same thing my mum does, where my mum mentions someone famous, and I go, who? And she just says their name again. And I'm like, I didn't know who it was the first time you said their name. I'm not going to know who it is the second time you say their name.
I just thought maybe Discord had let us down.
Yeah, I also like that, right? It's because I get this with these guys all the time, right? And usually it's over, less so much with Sean, but with Matt, he'll mention an influencer or a YouTuber or something, and I'll go, I never heard, and he's genuinely angry that I haven't heard of him, and I want to go, I don't know what to say. I don't know that person. I'm sorry. But just can you instead of going, my God, you don't know that. Why don't you? But having said that, I do that to Sean when he said he's never heard of "Step Into Christmas" by Elton John. So
okay, that's actually pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
The worst part of that being that I've heard it since, and been like, oh, that song that came into existence like 2 years ago.
that new hit, from that young pop singer who's going places, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, where were we?
No. Before we go any further, have you had a show where the guest is forced to leave after about 11 minutes? Because we have to explain Dominic Diamond.
Yeah, who is he?
Okay, so Dominic Diamond.
Games Master.
Yeah,
have you heard of Games Master, Sarah?
Yeah, I used to. Well,
okay.
Television.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I had a heart attack. I thought you were about to say no.
No, okay. So I am slightly younger than the rest of you.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, going for the age thing now. That's real.
No.
Nice
I'm just saying. So I used to buy Games Master magazine every month. But I think I just missed the TV show. Like, I know of it, and I've seen clips of it, but I never watched. I don't think it was ever on TV when I was of an age to have been interested in it.
I was going to say, I think you might have been 3 when it finished. So fair enough.
Oh my God! Wait! Everyone needs to be quiet. I've got some questions for you, Sarah.
Okay.
If you don't know Dominic Diamond, do you know the games animal?
No.
Fuck.
You've not seen him playing Mario 64? You've not seen him playing Mario 64?
No.
Right, okay, can we do a reaction video
We
for our
need to do
YouTube
a
channel
talk
where
server
Sarah
now.
watches that bit?
We're
creating a podcast now to do an immediate live talk over.
You need to see this. This is like one of the better... Don't Google it. Right, we've got to do something here. Sarah's got to see that clip from Games Master. It's one of the greatest things ever. Then she's got to watch the... Was it Dave... It's Dave Perry, isn't it?
Yes.
Games Animal Perry. Then you've got to watch his first ever YouTube show, because that's something else. But that's, less people have seen that one.
The name Dave Perry rings a bell.
Okay, all right, well, we got to sort something out, because you've got to see this clip. It's one of the best things ever. What a weird start to the show. We've gone all over the place. We haven't even got to feedback. It's 12 minutes in. Matt, can we get to feedback, please?
Speaking of feedback, David, I think you're accidentally deleting some words on the feedback. So can you, I don't know, like Control Z or something?
I've not
deleted the name of a YouTuber.
What's going on?
Well, your cursor is hovering over a deleted word. I've had to Google what that was supposed to say, and I found the answer.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I've
got it in another tab now. We'll get it. Let's move on.
Cool.
Right, feedback. 100 dozen fractured soup mugs. And for those who don't remember, that was a person whose question inspired the milk race. Anyway, they say not sending James off the internet for 2 weeks for a shit half an hour long state of play and some other half-assed marketing guff. Cowards.
Yeah, a few people have been angry by us cancelling the E3 show.
It wasn't us who did it. Sony did it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, they haven't done it for years, and we've still done it. But I mean, you posted the schedule up.
Them and Nintendo not doing it is
that's
as far as we know. They still haven't announced anything.
And then E3 leaking, and everyone's the whole thing's cancelled. It's not us. We obviously, what we're as good as you are. We want to do it.
What did you say? E3 doing what?
E3 kind of leaking away everyone's details as well. Probably didn't help.
Yes.
I know, yeah, but that was a number of years ago. We've done this E3 show since then.
But all them things combined.
What I'm saying is that when you post that schedule of the events over the next week in the WhatsApp group today, we looked at it and just went, what would be the fucking point? What would be the point? Look, we're going to do talks overs as and when we can. We're going to be talking about the announcements, but we want those shows to be special. Like, they're our best shows. Up there with our best shows.
That's what I look forward to. Well, that and Game of the Year are the things I look forward to most in the year. So we are absolutely as gutted as you out there who wishes we were doing them, because I love them so much. So it's a shame we're not doing them, but what can we do? What can we do?
What can we do? We can move on to the next bit of feedback.
We can. Jamie John, further to the discussion of Tunic in episode 302, cold in your pocket. I really hope that Sean sticks with the game and goes for the true ending. Having just recently completed the game with this ending myself, it was an entirely brilliant experience. Finding the solutions to all the puzzles without a guide was challenging but doable and immensely satisfying. Solving the alphabet is also something of a red herring, only needed for a few of the optional super secret puzzles. Everything you need for the main game is right there in the manual. And regarding the difficulty, Sean may find the final boss a lot easier if he solves the other puzzles first. The fact that the boss is as difficult as it is can be seen as the game's way of telling the player that there's still stuff to do. A fantastic game. It has the appearance of Zelda, but it's actually Fez in disguise. Get it finished, Sean. Love the show, from Jamie.
No, I absolutely will. I am going to go back to it. The only thing is, like, I get what Jamie's saying about, like, yeah, the final boss is meant to be basically impossible because it's not, you know, you're supposed to have done all the puzzles and stuff, right? Like, that's not the ending you're supposed to get, really. But also, that's why, like, having the workaround for me being shit at the game, just going, oh, well, here's an invincibility mode, that's why that doesn't really work, right? Because I've just got invincibility mode on, that means I can just brute force the boss and then be like, oh, I mean, I know there's another ending, right? And I'm going to see it. But you know what I mean? Because it's such a blunt tool to make the game easier, it takes away that nuance of, like, me approaching that final boss thinking, oh, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Because I'm just like, well, it's really fucking hard, but then so were other bits, so maybe it just is really fucking hard. Like, it's... So, yeah, I will definitely go back, but I think my whining about the difficulty is still somewhat valid.
Yeah, I mean, even the bits I played, like 2 or so hours, I found is either like really hard or really rather easy, and there's no challenge whatsoever. But I wish there's a bit of a middle ground. But a lot of people have said, you know, the people who are really into it have said you absolutely need to do more and go back and play it. So it's clearly struck a nerve of a lot of people.
Totally.
It must feel frustrating as well because we have, like, neither of us have really got into it. I know Sean was a fan for the most part, but like it feels like when people do love it, they absolutely adore it. So yeah, it's got to be frustrating to hear a bunch of people just sort of like write it off or not really give it the talking time that maybe it deserves. But I don't know. It didn't grab me.
Cool. Adam C. Just listened to the Cyberpunk 2077 discussion. You guys mentioned the injured penis guy quest. This is a cameo of YouTuber Jesse Cox. Pretty surprised that none of you are aware of him, though I suppose it's a generational thing. Well, thanks, Amber.
I know who he is.
You've never heard of Jesse Cox?
I know who
Go on, you can say it now.
Yeah, I actually know who he is, though, because he was one of the big World of Warcraft YouTubers back when I used to play, like, over 10 years ago now. Yeah, it was Jesse Cox and Wow Krendor were, like, the two main... and also Law, who then actually went and worked for Blizzard as part of, like, the Warcraft community team, and he's now actually just left Blizzard. Yeah, those were, like, the main three Warcraft YouTubers back in, like, Wrath of the Lich King days.
Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't... I mean, I haven't played that mission, and I wouldn't even recognise the name Jesse Cox, admittedly.
I don't think he looks like him either. I googled him quickly before the thing. Like, the character doesn't look like him. So
I don't think he's supposed to look like him, is he? Because I know didn't they...
But then how are you supposed to know it's like a cameo from that guy?
Yeah, but I think it's just the voice.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to see whether it does look like him, but I don't really want to Google anything to do with injured penises.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair shout.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, more to the point, when am I going to get invited to be in a game like this? I don't get it. I've been doing this for years.
Overdue,
and I've not been in one of these games. No. We have people from Rockstar emailing in, people from the Forza people, they email in, don't they?
Sarah, can you
get in touch?
Sort something out?
Sarah, stick me in a game.
I mean, I was just thinking that, but then also can't Matt also? How has Matt not sorted you out yet?
I want to be in a good one.
Because David doesn't think I work in gaming. He says I work in marketing.
Yeah, Matt doesn't work in marketing. But yeah,
I work in marketing.
Oh, fucking hell, you're sending me up here. Just get me in a game. Anyone?
All right.
Get me in a game.
I'd love it if Sarah just said, "Look, guys, the thing is, I've looked into it. The numbers just aren't there. All right, just
yeah. This is terrible reach. This is not going to do anything with the game.
A big old spreadsheet, and it says no.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'd rather, the only thing that I prefer than me being in a game is James Farley being in a game.
See,
we nearly,
that's
we
the
nearly
thing.
did that as well.
Well, because we've got someone who does the sort of London. I don't want to say Cockney because I know that's not
It gets very
the accent. But we've got.
I'm not from the East End.
Yeah, we've got someone who does like a similar accent to yours, but
similar but very different.
Where does he come from? Because if it's like the ones that I've heard in video games, they go, "Oh, hello, I'm in London, aren't I?"
No, you can.
Oh my God.
Mate, no, you're not.
If you watch any of the Dirty Bomb trailers and update videos, he's narrating most of those.
Well, I will check them out.
But yeah, James has got that slightly posher kind of accent. So that's maybe like filling a gap we could have.
Yeah, I'm happy to step aside if James Farley is in a video game. And as Sean says, we nearly got him in one, but then we forgot about it.
Yeah, we
so
just failed to follow up on it. I was just going to say this is a tangent, but I started watching Moon Knight. Has anyone started watching that?
I haven't, no.
What is Moon Knight?
Moon Knight. It's one of them superhero ones, Dave. You wouldn't be interested.
Then absolutely not. Like, why would you even ask me?
No, it's just basically it's got Oscar Isaac doing a supposedly Londonish accent, and it's.
Oh yeah, how's it going?
I mean, you get used to it, but fucking hell.
My favourite was Watchdog Legion. Like, they clearly got some people from London in it, but then they got a lot of people that weren't from London in it as well. It was quite a mix.
The thing is, though, I'm always wary of this stuff now, because do you remember when Overwatch came out and everyone's like, "Oh, have you heard Tracer's voice? She's supposed to be English and she sounds awful." And then it turned out the voice actor was English. And
yeah, I never thought Tracer sounded awful. Really,
yeah, loads of people kicked off saying, "Oh, it's not. They've got an American to do it. They must have." Nope, she's legit.
All right.
There you go.
That wasn't an American that just popped in. That was my American accent there, which you can use in your game if you want. Yeah, I've got all sorts of accents. G'day.
Nice, that's good. That.
Okay, Luke Summerhays. I'm with Dave about the Epic thing. The way Matt and Sean were describing it made the Epic Game Store thing sound like a Nigerian prince with money in an account that he's holding until you give him a transfer fee. Appreciate y'all. He's got a PS here. Nemo was dead. Link was dead in Majora's Mask. The dungeons are the stages of grief. You kill Gary's Raticade in the original Pokemon. Hillary Clinton drinks. What is this?
It's all conspiracy theories.
These are all the conspiracy theories.
Harry was into his conspiracy theories, wasn't he?
I've never heard the Raticate one. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, there's one of the fights with your rival. Like, because canonically he's not called Gary. That was only brought in the cartoons. So there's a fight with your rival in the original Pokemon Red and Blue, where he uses a Raticate. I think it's a Rattata, and then it becomes a Raticate, and then you beat him. And after that point, he never has the Raticate in his team, and you run into him in Lavender Town and in the is it the Lavender Tower? It's called whatever the
the one, yeah.
Yeah, and so the theory is
burial ground, sort of. Yeah,
because it's basically a graveyard. The theory is because he never has his Raticate in his team after that fight. The theory is that you killed it, and he's in Lavender Town in the tower because it's dead.
I'm having a big "Are we the baddies" moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's complete nonsense, but that's the theory.
I had a similar theory, right? I had a similar theory about, I nearly submitted this as an idea for a talk at an EGX, where the title of the speech was going to be the Tomb Raider. What was it? 2018 reboot? No, it's before then, wasn't it?
2016
maybe. Yeah, 2016, I think it was. Yeah, the Tomb Raider 2016 reboot has the best plot in any video game ever. That was going to be the title of it. And the whole thing was that I was going to explain that she dies right at the start of it, and the rest of it are her final thoughts of before she passes away as she's drowning, right? And the only evidence I had of this was, one, all the accents are absolutely appalling in it, right? Talk about all the sort of, what they call it, I don't know
cognitive dissonance.
Long words. That's the one. Like, all the stuff about her just like becoming a killer and all that sort of stuff. That's all far-reaching and all that sort of stuff. And this only shred of evidence that I've got is at the start where the ship's about to sink. A hand comes out of nowhere and saves her, and we never see the person that saves her from drowning. It's such a weird bit of that cutscene.
Don't we?
Hand reaches down, they save her, and I'm like, that's God. So that was going to be my thing. That's why, I got the original idea and thought, this is a 5-minute little conspiracy theory joke thing. I can't really expand it out into 45 minutes.
Oh, you absolutely can. You can do a full PowerPoint presentation on this. What are you talking about?
That's the game theory YouTube channel's entire thing. They've done
a whole career's built on that.
Yeah, have you not seen the hours of content they've got of the Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, I've not, because I'm worried that if I'm watching anything on Five Nights at Freddy's, at some point someone's going to go blah, and I'm going to jump and then get angry and chuck my fucking phone and go, I'm never going to watch any of this shit ever again.
Their Pets Cop series is also really good and less jump scares in it, but also complete nonsense, and they're clearly just pulling a lot of stuff completely out of their behind.
That's part of the fun, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I just assume that a lot of these conspiracy theory people don't actually believe it. It's just, how can we make a stupid theory sort of work?
Yeah, because there's a sense of fun around that, which is a far cry from like, here's 37 things you missed in the latest Marvel trailer. And it's like, yeah, come on, just leave it.
So you've been watching lots of videos about Marvel trailers this week, Sean. It just sounds like it's at the forefront of your mind, that one.
Well, I saw Doctor Strange the other week, the new one. It was really good.
Okay.
So I'm just...
All right.
I'm back in.
Stay tuned for next week's edition of Sean Bell's movie reviews.
I also saw Jackass Forever. That was also really good.
Cool. We'll save it for next week.
I saw that in the cinema, and it was the best experience of my life.
We were quite glad we didn't see it in the cinema, because there's a lot of ball sacks, which I think would have been too much in the cinema, to be honest. I could just about handle it on the TV.
Sean, what have you got against ball sacks in the cinema?
They're fine. I just don't need them 500 times their normal size in my face. That's all.
We saw Bruno at the cinema, and that's got a whole helicoptering penis in it. I'm quite looking forward to Lightyear that's out in a couple of weeks. That's my version of Doctor Strange. I'm going to go and see a Buzz Lightyear film that shouldn't really exist, but I don't care because it's Buzz and he's my boy. Right, should we get on to the next bit?
By the way, it's cognitive dissonance before anyone has already maybe sent an email saying...
Oh, what did we say?
I can never remember that. I'll never remember that. Go
on. Garrison Savannah. Oh, we didn't get Epic. It's fine, the Epic Games. So in fact, someone tweeted me this week saying, Matt, I've just bought some V-Bucks for the Fortnite Pass, and I put in the code, so thank you to that person.
Matt, you don't understand what my problem is then. If you're saying it's fine, someone did this as backup for why we do it, you're not understanding what my problem is. My problem is, we've had one advertising campaign, and there was a price to that because they were spreading the name of their product.
Sorry, are you just going to repeat what you said last week, or have you got something new to say?
If you're going to ignore it and go, well, someone sent me a message and said they used it last week. Yes, I'm going to keep telling you
what
that.
I'm saying, David, is were someone to purchase something on the Epic Games Store and put TCGS in as the creator code, I wouldn't be
for someone that's not paying for advertising, Matt.
But the point is, people are doing it, and we're still getting no money. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. That's the problem.
Matt, you work in marketing. You should know that this is a bad thing to do.
It's a brilliant thing for Epic.
Yeah, but he doesn't work for Epic, Sarah.
Well, I've got some news for you, actually.
He works for David Turner.
Oh, for fuck. Good point, Sean. Good point. Should we move on?
Garrison Savannah. Oh no! Oh my God! I literally didn't check this, but here's the email. Because Sean lovingly put the stuff in the doc, and I just hadn't pre-read it. Garrison Savannah. I'd just like to say that I support you guys on the Epic Games Store.
Right, okay, can we just move on to the news now?
Thank you, Garrison.
It's fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
No, there's a PS kind of. If Sean insists on doing his lunchtime streams on days when I'm in the office and can't subscribe to watch, I'll save my Prime sub for Bezos to fund his next space penis launch. I did actually buy some stuff in the Epic Games Store and put your code in. Thank you.
Right, okay, stop doing that bit.
Right, I won't do it ever again. But
thanks.
That is it for feedback. Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS if you want to leave us feedback or tell us about your Epic Games Store adventures.
Unbelievable. Okay, no James this week. No news hound.
Which I only remembered at about 5 p.m. today.
Imagine I was a Prime Minister and you're an MP submitting a fucking... That's why we don't do that no more. Yep. Sean, what's the news?
We've had a full... Well, not really a trailer, but a load of footage of Sonic Frontiers, which apparently was teased a year ago. I must have completely missed that.
I don't remember this a year ago.
Yeah, it was definitely teased, yeah.
Yeah, but what, just like an image of the name?
Was that? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, and people have mixed feelings. Or rather...
Why does everyone hate it?
Well, people either seem to be quite positive or absolutely detest it. It's a weird one. I get the angle, like people are saying, like it looks like they've just pulled a load of like generic, like Unreal assets and just made like a
massively so. I think
good.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Go on, why is that good? Why is that good?
It doesn't look good.
Well, Sean, if they showed a bunch of Sonic things in that Sonic game, you would have looked at it and gone, "Fuck this."
No,
at least it looks like they're trying something different.
I mean, I guess, but it doesn't... No, like, okay, so what I do like is the fact that everything's fucking massive, right? Like, because we've talked about before, like, some of the, sort of indie devs who've sort of had a go at, like, prototyping how, like, a 3D Sonic game could work. The environments are huge, and, like, once you build up speed, it's all about, like... like building up loads of momentum and stuff. Like, yeah, okay, so there's like a ramp over there that leads, that has like a big jump over to another island, but you've got to like work out how to get your speed up and to actually reach the ramp properly.
This is it. So like,
but go on.
I'm thinking. Sorry, Sean. I'm thinking this is it. Like, I'm thinking if you have it, like, because I've been playing Nights into Dreams recently, right? Mm-hmm. And that game still feels amazing to play, right? Mm. If you sort of have that feeling of running around in circles, going really fast along these environments or whatever, but having it sort of flipped over so that you're running along, as you say, a massive 3D environment, that feels like that could potentially feel absolutely incredible, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's never going to feel as good as Dreams, though, because what's good about Dreams is that you felt like you were flying around. This is just you land on the rail and...
Well, no, momentum can be transferred on different planes, I think. It works.
I'm both impressed that it looks like they're doing something different, and I think the environment, as in like kind of the larger 3D environment, it looks cool. But what I don't like is that it just feels super empty.
Yeah.
And I truly do think it's like, this could be a fan game where they're like, oh, we've got an amazing Unreal Engine or whatever it is, and just put some stuff in that's vaguely Sonic-like. We've grabbed some models and here we go. Like the whole environment just felt really, really bland and really bare. And yes, like in that 12-minute video, there's lots of bits where they were going from rail to rail, and also I think the rails just hovering in midair looks a little bit dumb, but I guess I can live with that. But it just felt
you can live with that, Matt.
It just felt
here's the thing. Let me say this, right? You're not going to play this game, right? You haven't played a new Sonic game for the past 30 years, correct?
Well, I played Sonic Mania.
Okay, right. You played that one Sonic game, but when was the last time you were ever interested in a new Sonic game?
Probably Sonic 3. Sonic and Knuckles, maybe?
Exactly.
But I would love a great one. And this has potential. It's not even a Sonic game, but this initial thing just felt very, very bare. Very bare bones.
I feel like the fact that you're saying this has potential is one of the most optimistic things I've ever heard anyone say about anything ever.
About a Sonic game.
Anything can have potential. That's the glory of it.
Yeah. I guess.
That's what's so great about things that don't exist yet, is they could be brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's where I'm at with this, right? Let me explain where I'm at. I saw the initial trailer, I went, this looks fucking great. They're trying something new, this looks fantastic. I watched the gameplay thing and I thought, doesn't look that great. And then I realised that I'm at the start of the Sonic cycle, and I know that's become a cliche in itself, that you're not even supposed to talk about the Sonic cycle anymore because everyone mentions it every time a Sonic game announced. But it's fucking true. I looked at it, I thought this is going to be great, knowing full well that it's going to come out and it's going to be shit. Okay? I'm aware of that. But right now, I'm at the start of the Sonic cycle, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here, Sean. I looked at that, and I just went, hey, that looks bloody interesting. As you say, I hope it turns out to be good. I've got zero hope that it'll turn out to be good. But I will say this. I looked at that and went, that's the first time I looked at a Sonic game and went, ooh, yeah, they're trying something.
Yeah. And I'm all right with it being quite sparse, because ultimately, if you want an environment that you're going to run around really fast, of course, there's not going to be much detail going on, because most stuff you're going to just run past and not look at properly. It would be annoying if there was too much stuff there to do.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So I'm all right with that.
Also, as well, so you keep going on about how you got to be really fast, and you're running around really fast, and Sonic goes really fast. Right. I seem to remember a great podcast host who isn't here tonight saying that Sonic games aren't about speed and are actually more about the really good platforming. So
that's true.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
He's probably kicking off listening to this discussion.
Oh mate, he's having a meltdown. He's gonna be. You wait until next week. His notes. He's going to take notes this time. He'll have notes, and it'll be really obvious that he's reading them word for word as he comes on the show, like he normally does when he takes notes. I'm just hoping at some point when you're running around this environment,
really
Dr. Robotnik turns up on a massive horse and beats the shit out of you, and you're like, oh, I need to level up first before. It's an Elden Ring thing.
Yeah, I need to collect some Elden Rings. I will say, even in that video, the more interesting bits weren't the rail grinding. It was when there's the mini puzzles to unlock the doors and stuff, and even they were incredibly basic. But I was like, okay, well, maybe there is something there. Look, I'm interested. There's potential. I watched that video and I was like, ugh. But yeah, we'll see.
No. What does that mean? You watched that video and went, ugh. What does that mean?
Well, they've got an awful lot of work to do before this. Become something.
You may be aware that fans are already campaigning to get the game delayed, as if that will magically fix it.
Who's doing this?
Just people on the internet.
I wasn't.
So they got
people that are not involved in the development.
Oh yeah.
Only seen this trailer asking for it to be done.
Sonic fans. You know what they're like. Yeah, they got hashtag delay Sonic Frontiers briefly trending this week, apparently. The thing is, because this is because of the stuff with the film, right? Because they changed the look of him because people on the internet kicked off. And now these people are referencing that.
That was also because that first Sonic design was nightmare. Just a straight up nightmare. It was horrific.
It was nightmare inducing.
I thought he looked funny. He looked like a dirty animal.
Have you seen Sonic 2 yet, Sean?
I haven't, no. Need to sort that out.
I think it's good, right? I will stick by that. I thought it was good.
I
still love the fact that there's half an hour. Sorry?
I really like the first one. The first one was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
First one was really good. I can't tell whether this one's better or not, but I love the fact that there's half an hour in it where Sonic's just not in it, and it turns into some sort of a casual comedy show about two other characters. It's really weird, but I dig it. Anyway, Sonic's weird. Their fans are weird. Is that news? That makes the news, does it?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's do you think they've maybe released an intentionally shit trailer to make the game look bad?
Oh my god, they're doing it again. They're doing it again, aren't they?
Maybe.
So that people set their expectations low, and then the game comes out, and it's actually maybe not amazing, but it's better than the trailer made everyone think it was going to be.
Look,
and then by comparison, they're like, "Oh my god, it's a good Sonic game. We thought it was going to be shit, and it's actually okay." Rather than it looked really good in the trailer and it came out and it was disappointing. They're trying to flip it around, do it the other way.
I mean, all I'm saying is
they just do that every time.
I'm just saying, don't trust a single trailer that comes from Sarah or Matt's employers. They're giving away all their secrets tonight.
Oh no, they found us out.
It's fine. I'm not allowed to have anything to do with that.
This is like the movie. They're like, hey, they've already got the real Sonic game in the background. They're like, let's just do this. The fans will think they've had their way, and next week we're like, here's the real game. Well, not next week. They'll try and make it believable.
Have you just stolen Sarah's idea then and just reworded it and repackaged it as your own?
Verifying. I was like, yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Verifying. Sarah, don't worry. Matt has verified your thought there. Don't worry, it's been verified. You've got a lovely big white tick. Brain.
Oh, I'm so glad that that's happened because
Right, okay, let's move on.
More Sega news. They've announced that the Mega Drive Mini 2 is coming out. Apparently, one wasn't enough. Well, it's a really weird one, right? Because it's
the first one was absolutely ripped to pieces.
Well, so they've only announced. I can't count how many that is, but not many announced games for it yet. It's going to have 50 games on it, apparently.
Well, sorry, was the first one ripped to pieces? I don't think it was it?
Yes, it was. Didn't it have like the wrong emulation? It had the wrong ROMs in it. It had all sorts of stuff that was ripped out.
I don't remember.
It was a mess, wasn't it?
I don't remember it coming out at all, to be honest. Given the fuss around the NES and the SNES Mini, I would have. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So every game confirmed for the Sega Mega Drive Mini 2: Silpede, Shining Force, Sonic CD, Mansion of Hidden Souls. Never even heard of that. Popful Mail, also not heard of that. Classics. Virtua Racing, Bonanza Brothers, Shining in the Darkness, Thunder Force 4, banger, Magical Taruruto. Sorry. And Fantasy Zone. What's weird is, I mean, for starters, it's cool that it's got Sega CD games on there. Sorry, Mega CD games. That's quite good because it's not an easy thing to get hold of these days. And also, so that Fantasy Zone, that's a port of, no one knows for sure, but they think it's going to be a port of the arcade version. There's a Master System version, there's an arcade version.
Of the TCGS feature hosted by James Farley.
Imagine if they used the music. And we'd have to sue them.
They shouldn't use the music.
No.
Yeah, go
Maybe
on.
we should offer them. So look, £500, you can have it.
Sue them. Should we send like a cease and desist? You cannot release a game called Fantasy Zone, and then just the only evidence we've got to back it up is the Farley's Fantasy Zone engine.
I'm going to quickly copyright
it. Get that done.
So they've said. But basically, people have theorised this is presumably a port of the Master System or the arcade version. But apparently Sega has said that there are going to be other arcade ports described as, quote, mysterious new work.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's an interesting thing to do with one of these sort of mini retro consoles, like putting stuff.
Having a look at the picture of this, the cartridge flaps, they don't open, I assume.
I've no idea.
Because if they release one of these and said, no, actually, if you got a Mega Drive cartridge, you could plug it in and it'll work.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Like, wouldn't that be like a massive... Wouldn't that be great?
It would, but then also Sega wouldn't get any money from you doing that, so...
No, but they'd sell more, wouldn't they?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Because CEX, they have the occasional Mega Drive game in there, don't they? I mean, they charge about 58 quid.
I mean, you say that, yeah. I mean, I found, because I got the Analog Pocket, thinking, do you know what? It'd be nice to get like a collection of really good Game Boy Advance games together. Have you fucking seen the price of them? It's bad.
Expensive.
Not cheap.
No.
David, just to save you from potential feedback, both Digital Foundry say it's possibly the best mini console there is, and IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. So just... In case.
The first one?
Yeah.
I thought it got pulled apart. Maybe.
Well, no, but maybe you're thinking about the one that wasn't licensed by Sega, and you're thinking about some random knockoff.
There were some unofficial ones
but the official one, people were like, you can do 4, 3, or 16:9. You can do all sorts of stuff with it, and people will say it is good.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologise. I got that wrong. I misremembered. Okay, thanks. Next.
So obviously, after this was announced, the fans started stamping their feet and saying, "Why isn't it a Dreamcast or a Saturn?" And basically, Sega...
For once, I'm behind these guys.
Yeah, I sort of get it. And basically, Sega said because it's too fucking expensive. Just because of hardware costs being what they are, to develop something like that is too cost prohibitive. I mean, I don't know if I entirely believe that. Like, Dave and I have both got handhelds that will play Saturn and Dreamcast stuff. And they were...
but it's a bit different though, isn't it?
Where is it?
Yeah, they run like shit, and
don't.
you'd want to create the controller with the little screen in the middle and all that shit, wouldn't you?
We talked. Oh, for the Dreamcast
one. For the Dreamcast.
I don't know.
Yeah, Dreamcast, I can definitely see being much more challenging to have it at a sensible price point. But the Saturn,
yeah,
especially with all the other handheld consoles I've seen that say this plays Saturn games perfectly and
exactly.
Whatnot.
Yeah, that's true.
Not unthinkable. I mean, I don't know what the innards of these things tend to be. Are they just like general purpose?
Just like chips.
Just bees, Sean.
Electricity, right?
Just bees.
Just 100 bees.
Electricity, chips. And I saw a video where they took one apart and they said, the chip is the logic board.
Just loads of bees came out as well.
Gets a soldering iron and goes, look, I fixed it. And then he turns it on and it works. So that's all they've got to do is get all of the old ones. Yep. And then get a soldering iron and just pour the fucking magma all over it.
That is going to affect the bee population, though.
I don't know, Sarah. I don't work in the industry. I'm a fan.
I don't think they're like proprietary devices, right? Could they not? They can just fucking sling a Raspberry Pi in there. I know, not literally, but you know what I mean. They're like
but we all get the ump if they do that, don't they?
Yeah,
there'll be days like after it comes out, and someone will be on fucking Digital Foundry going, we opened it and it was a fucking Raspberry Pi. And everyone goes, fucking hell. And then Sean went, I said it was a good thing, actually, if they did that. They were like, we don't agree.
Sean said, I thought good thing.
I did think good thing.
I think good thing.
I think good thing all the time. So yeah, that's where that has landed. I mean, you know, people in the comments have been saying like, you know, we've said before, why are we not getting like more modern ports of Dreamcast games? And yeah, people are saying the same thing again. It's like, look, if the hardware's too prohibitive, then just sort some ports out. You know what I mean? Just copy and paste it onto the Xbox, guys. Come on.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Get David a point.
Yep.
Whack it on Xbox.
Yeah, that's why I don't want them to do it. Save it for next year.
I know, you're very bitter. You're very bitter. Very bitter about that, aren't you, Matt?
I'm joining the anti-Dreamcast port campaign.
Go on.
A retro game forger has been outed. So this was a guy called Enrico Riccardi, and he's been sort of trading in sort of rare old games for a long time, and he's been outed as a forger.
He's been making fake ones.
Yeah, and what's amazing is they're not particularly good. Like you would think, like, right, I'm going to go into business. I'm going to start forging this shit. You'd really pay attention. You wouldn't, for example, put a label on a disc, like a floppy disk, that covers the read-only tab, thus making sure it would never actually work. Do you know what you also wouldn't do? Include blank discs in the boxes.
Yeah. Well, you would if. Hold on, I disagree. You would if you were selling them as sealed. Because there's a big thing about this, isn't there? About various video games and Pokemon's cards, is it? The Pokemon cards.
Yep.
They sell them as sealed because they know the Pokemon cards.
Oh, it's Pokemon.
If you open one of those, then you reduce the value in half.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, who's going to open them? So you just send them a little empty box.
You'd have to be, if you're selling it to another collector, you'd have to be mental to open it. Yeah.
Wasn't one of the Paul brothers
That's right.
He
opened it up and they weren't Pokemons, were they? They were something else.
They were not Pokemons. I think they were like baseball cards or something.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, weren't they?
They were Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, they were Yu-Gi-Oh. And I watched that and went, he probably did this on purpose for the hits. I can't trust any of his videos. Yeah.
Did I mention on the show about the mislabeled Hot Wheels car that I found in Asda?
You did, yeah. You thought it was rare, but it wasn't rare.
Fine. Don't need to tell that story again.
Great story.
It's a great story, but once is enough.
Because I've never really understood those videos. You know those videos where Jake Paul or Logan Paul, whatever it is,
one of the Pauls,
which one everyone is.
It's Logan Paul.
When he like pulls out a Charizard and goes, "Oh my god, that's $200,000 right there!" And when you Google how much is a Charizard first edition, it's like $200 or whatever. You go, where's he getting this evaluation from? Who's telling him he's worth this much? I'm assuming I'm getting something wrong. I've missed something, but. Sorry, just a random thought I had there. Right, are we...
That's all right.
Going to continue the
I'll do the next story if you want.
Go on.
Sony did one of the little television shows on the internet. They did. Definitely not an E3 show, just casually.
But I fucking wasn't.
Fired it out. So I missed a lot of this. So I don't know.
Yeah, you've got no right talking about.
No, I
this,
haven't. I mean, do you guys want to go through it, or I've got a summary. That's right.
Here. Myself, Sarah, and Matthew Murray watched it live on twitch.net/TCGSCO, I think, and we watched that. You can watch that on our YouTube channel. It was alright, wasn't it?
It was fine.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Stray looked good. Street Fighter 6 got a little bit of an airing. That got people excited.
And it's got like a weird open world mode in it or something.
Oh, we didn't understand that. We thought it was a piss take when we watched it, weren't we?
Yeah, or like a spin-off or something. And then it was like, no, it's just actual Street Fighter, but you can like walk around.
Yeah, could you imagine if you're playing online and the whole point is that you have to walk to the location?
I was going to say, imagine if they were just like, oh no, Street Fighter's like a narrative-focused single-player game now. It's where the money is.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, your next fight is in Japan, but I'm in the UK. We'll better get to the
hoof it to the airport then.
I'm not a Street Fighter fan, but obviously people go wild for that. There was what else was shown off that looked quite good? I'm struggling to remember.
Oh, what's it called? The Dead Space, but not Dead Space.
Oh, that's the Callisto Protocol.
That's it. I know it was a weird word like that. A couple of weird words. Yeah. Absolutely will never, ever play it, but it looks really good. There's a bit in the trailer where he's like, your guy is walking past like another guy that's like melted into the wall, and then the melty guy's like eye just like flicks to follow the guy that's walking past him, and it's like genuinely really creepy. And obviously, I mean, the first Dead Space is incredible. So yeah,
but also terrifying.
I've played 10 minutes of it and I will never play any more of it. But I've watched like a million videos about the lore and story and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've never played a Dead Space game, but this does look really excellent. Yeah,
oh,
really
man,
good.
I know we always say this, but that'd be a stream, mate.
Yeah.
So this is out in December, and then the new Dead Space is out in like March, I think, next year. So it's probably a good time for that kind of game.
Because it's a different team, isn't it? Like the original team's left, and they're doing Callisto, and then it's just like it's a remaster, isn't it, of the first Dead Space?
I don't know if it's remake or remaster, but either way,
that type of thing.
Yeah. We also had Spider-Man coming to PC, which I think is pretty exciting because that game already looks incredible on the PlayStation 5. I can't wait to see what it looks like on a decent PC, especially when mods come into play. I'm sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
We can have a lot of fun with that. So
Thomas the Tank Engine swinging on ropes.
Oh, that'll be
yes.
Yep.
They started with Resident Evil 4 remake, and the first thing I thought when I heard that music was it was like a Last of Us thing.
Yeah.
I was like, Last of Us? Because I'd saying it was actually the same kind of music, but no, it's Resident Evil 4 remake. But I don't think the trailer really showed much that really it was. I mean, for me, it wasn't instantly different. That it was like, okay, this is the remake. This is why it's different and better and bigger. But the trailer looked nice, but it was really hard to.
No, it didn't. It didn't though.
I mean, it's certainly like
the trailer looked terrible.
Yeah, remember the bit with the rocks when he was walking in between the rocks, and the rocks look real like low
like
res. And I hate that I'm pointing that out about a trailer because I don't care. But
sounds like you really care.
I mean, again, I don't play horror games, so I'm not going to play this.
Resident Evil 4 is not really a horror game, though, is it? I mean, I don't like horror games. I can't stand them, but this was very doable.
It's the most action.
Still enough to make me panicky.
Okay.
It'll be. I'm interested to see where they go with this because I've seen like people already not even kicking off, but just saying like, oh, they're going to completely change the tone. It's going to lose like the weird sense of humor and this, that, and the other. And it's like
you've got to give them a bit of credit after Resident Evil 2.
Well, this is
right?
it. Like it's like, yeah, well, I don't need them to make this literally the same game again. Like, of course, it's going to be different. That's why.
Yeah, they said they're making changes, story changes, and all sorts. So it'd be interesting to see what they do.
Like it's not like the story was good or anything. Like there was some awkwardly funny bits,
and also,
but it's not like. I'm sorry.
Have these people seen some of the nonsense that's in 8? Like,
good point.
That it's like even just the tone shift of going from like 7 which is obviously real, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes, into here's a giant vampire lady that also turns into a dragon. Like, 8 went completely off the rails. So, yeah, they'll probably still keep that in 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love 4 when I played it on GameCube. I haven't played any other kind of version. I played a bit of the Quest version, actually, but apart from that, I haven't really played any other version since. So, I'm really interested to know what they do, but I don't think that trailer really did much in terms of showing off what they're going to do. Yeah.
Oh,
there was like a... Sorry.
I was just going to say, they also showed Resi 8 VR for the PSVR 2.
Oh, yeah.
They did,
and that terrible-looking Walking Dead game that looks dreadful.
Does it? I think I didn't see the trailer for this one. I gather the first one's meant to be quite good, but did this look?
Yeah, I mean, Saints and Sinners is like it just done absolutely ridiculous numbers on Quest, and I'm sure it's probably done really well on PSVR. And this is obviously Chapter 2 that's already been revealed for Quest. It will come out on all VR headsets. Again, I wasn't terribly impressed with the visuals of this, but again, the stream presentation, it's never going to look as good as it needs to, but I wasn't exactly blown away, because this is like, they said we're going to show off some PSVR 2 stuff. I'm like, here we go. I'd like to see what they're going to show, but that wasn't a particularly strong showing. They showed No Man's Sky. That looked good, but then No Man's Sky does look good.
Well, hang on, what did they have to? Why did they show No Man's Sky?
Because it's coming to PSVR 2.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, they did. This was a whole sort of VR 2 segment at the start of the show.
Yeah, and then as well as Sarah mentioned, the Resident Evil Village section. Then they showed off the Horizon Call of the Mountain PSVR 2 game, and that looked easily the best of the PSVR 2 section. It looked really fantastic, so I'd be interested to know how good that really looks in VR, but there's a lot of first-person climbing in that section.
And Spider-Man's coming to PC. That's good news for me and probably no one else.
Yep, David mentioned that.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I'd already mentioned that.
Because I'm flicking through and looking at the trailers with the sound off. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're... I wonder, so do you reckon your PC could do 60 frames per second ray tracing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then absolutely play that, because, it's fucking incredible. Especially if... Did they say if Miles Morales is coming to it? They did, right?
Well, yeah, because that's the only bit I've not played. I played the main game on PS4.
Well, I don't know if they did. I mean, they literally only mentioned the fact that it's Marvel Spider-Man. Like, that was the weird thing that they didn't...
really? I thought they said...
There was a little subtitle on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've just checked on the PlayStation blog, so it is both Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales both heading to PC.
Oh, cool. Because I don't think...
Yeah, play that.
I don't think the trailer showed any of the Miles Morales stuff, did it?
It didn't, no. They only focused on Remastered. It was only when the PlayStation blog came out afterwards that they're like, oh yeah, and Miles Morales.
Oh, that's cool.
Bit of a weird way of doing it. So for me, there's the two biggest ones for me, probably. I mean, we'll come on to Final Fantasy 16 in a minute, but so Stray, they announced a release date. It's out in July. I don't know exactly if it's out in July, but also it's coming as part of that new PlayStation Plus system as well.
That was interesting.
So as part of the premium and the extra tier, which is the middle and the top tier. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's another reason to potentially sign up for a month, maybe, of the middle tier if I want to play Stray. The game that looked the best to me, the one that I was most excited about, was Roller Drome.
I was going to ask about this.
From Ollie Ollie World developers. It's kind of... at first I thought it was that... oh my god, I forgot this at the time, but it had kind of like cel-shaded graphics, a little bit like that game. Came out last year. I think you played it, Sean. We're kind of racing in like a speeder across cel-shaded kind of landscapes.
Oh, it looks like Sable, yes.
It looks like... I was like, is this Sable? But no, it was, basically, it's they show loads of slow-mo kind of combat with the people you're playing and the people you're playing against on roller skates. So it's like a futuristic blood sport, it says here on the PlayStation blog. That looked fantastic, Roller Drome. It's a really great trailer. Looked awesome. Looked like it felt like it would play really well. And it's from the Ollie Ollie World developer. So, really excited about that.
Yeah. No, it looks cool.
Indie-wise, there's Season, A Letter to the Future. I think it's been shown before.
Yeah.
That just looked really nice. Tunic's coming to PlayStation. And then, another game called Etonites, which is like a dating sim. It looked quite good, actually. But then they ended with Final Fantasy 16. Sarah, you're the biggest Final Fantasy fan among us. I know at the time you weren't terribly happy. Has your opinion changed? And what exactly did they show?
So... In terms of what the trailer showed, I mean, there was a bunch of story stuff, but none of it makes any sense, which is pretty standard for a Final Fantasy trailer this early on. Oh yeah, release date is summer next year. Yeah, and so then they showed quite a bit of the combat, which it looks to be, because so I went back and rewatched the trailer earlier today. It looks like it's kind of hack and slash action RPG, like action combat, which is pretty cool. And then it also looks like you're gonna, because it showed a lot of footage of like what have always been called summons in a lot of like most of the previous Final Fantasy games. So it's like Ifrit, Garuda, Shiva, Ramu, basically all the kind of big dudes who come and do the big flashy moves.
Oh yeah, all the biggies. Yeah, I love them.
What's interesting, well, I think is interesting anyway, in this is that they're called, in the trailer, they're called icons, which is what they're called in Final Fantasy XIV, and is, as far as I'm aware, the first Final Fantasy that changed to start calling them that. So I rewatched the trailer. I'm a bit more convinced by it now. I still think it's maybe a little bit brown. But they did also, so just after this trailer came out, they've also released a load of information on the key staff working on it. And that has me a lot more interested. So I'm going to not say a lot of the names because they're very Japanese and I'm going to completely butcher the pronunciations. But so the producer Naoki Yoshida worked on Final Fantasy XIV, Dragon Quest X. The main director did Final Fantasy V, Saga Frontier, and The Last Remnant. The creative director, again, Final Fantasy XIV, Final Fantasy XII, which is one of the best Final Fantasies, The Last Remnant. The art director, again, did 14, 12, and Tactics. Character design, again, also did 14, 11, 10. The composer for the music did the soundtrack for Final Fantasy XIV, and then also Mario Hoops 3-on-3.
Oh, it's a classic.
Apparently, that was a classic soundtrack.
The soundtrack for Final Fantasy XIV is amazing. It's so good. But most excitingly, the combat director, so obviously bearing in mind that this is a Final Fantasy game that's shifting to a action RPG style, the combat director is Ryota Suzuki, who did Devil May Cry 5, Dragon's Dogma, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Where's that coming from?
Is this 3-on-3?
This is the soundtrack to Mario Hoops 3-on-3, and I tell you what,
I actually had this
is
played
fucking
at my wedding.
Oh, mate.
Be our new theme
Can
tune.
we stick this... Can this be the music that we come onto stage to? Like, fair play, this is quality.
So you should also listen to... Okay. I think they're actually on Spotify as the Primals. So basically he has... In Final Fantasy XIV, a lot of the big fights against like the icons and some of the big boss battles basically just have full on like actual songs, like and a lot of them are like heavy metal songs, and it's basically Soken's band called the Primals, and they're really good.
Right? Okay, I think I've got it here. So this is the music you're talking about, right?
Horribly cheesy, but I kind of love it. I don't even know what one you're putting on.
It's like heavy metal, cheesy heavy metal.
Yeah, it's like cheesy Final Fantasy heavy metal.
All right, let's listen.
That is,
love those dudes.
I think you found not the right thing.
I love that.
That sounds correct to me.
Can we walk out on that? Walk out stage to that?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, sorry, that's the 10-hour spinning sea lion video that I love.
It's close.
Yeah, sorry. Cool. No, that sounds it. To be fair, that 3-on-3 music was legitimately amazing, so I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Sarah, how do you feel about... Because people are saying it looks like there isn't like a party in this one, like it's just you going on your adventure and there isn't like a whole cast of people following you. Do you think that's a problem?
It depends what that character is like. I mean, if he sucks, then yeah, that's not going to be great. Well, I mean, to be honest, I mean, if he's not that great, but he's enough of a blank slate that he is just a way to experience the story of everyone else, then that's fine.
Matt Murray.
Yeah.
Go on.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Although I do really like how everyone just got really distracted by the Mario Hoops thing and not the fact that the guy doing the combat in this game did Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Devil May Cry 5. So that's really cool.
But that Mario Hoops music was really good, though. That's the problem. You should have maybe left that to the end.
I think you underestimate how good that music was.
I wasn't expecting everyone to get so excited about Mario Hoops. That's why I left the combat director till last, because I thought that was more exciting.
Boring.
Silly me.
Right, but I will say overall, I mean, I went in with very low expectations, but I was actually quite impressed. It was actually really good,
yeah. It wasn't too bad. There's some good stuff. That Stray looks great as well, and that's not out.
Oh yeah, just to confirm, that's out on July 19th for PS4, PS5, and Steam.
Yeah, not far from
I may, if that's decent, I may just get 1 month of whatever the PlayStation Plus tier is I need to get.
Okay. Matt splashing out.
Unbelievable.
Is that it for State of Play? Should we move on?
Yeah, one last bit of news. Geoff Keighley says, can you all just fucking chill, because there's not going to be anything good on his show.
Well, you're paraphrasing.
I think he's taken a leaf out of the Sonic marketing team.
Yeah. He's urging viewers to manage their expectations in terms of, quote, megaton shocks. And apparently, the Summer Game Fest thing will be primarily focused on already announced games. Which, I mean, maybe this is a bit of misdirection, but probably not.
I saw that, I thought, okay, he's obviously, he's literally managing expectations, but then he quote tweeted like the VGC piece and saying, interesting reaction to this. Obviously, last year, Elden Ring had already been announced, but they still had the big gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, on May 31st, he tweeted saying, "One of the things I love is giving new teams a platform to reveal brand new worlds to you at Summer Game Fest." And I think, and there we go. And then yesterday, 17 hours ago, he tweeted, "There's nothing like the feeling of seeing a good world premiere arrive in your inbox."
He's a twat. It seems like a nice guy, but also, come on. Wasn't it last year where he turned around and said, "We've got an announcement that's so earth-shattering," or something? He said something really overblown, and it turned out to be Balan Wonderworld.
Come on, it couldn't have turned out to be that.
Great game, I don't know what
it was that.
About,
he said, we've got he said like earth-shattering or something. He used that phrase. James will remember it because he loves quotes like that.
Because he hates Geoff.
Yeah, he does. He's not a fan of Geoff. I don't know. I'll probably not be watching Geoff's thing. It's usually really padded out, isn't it?
It's quite drawn out,
and nobody got time for that. I'll watch the Microsoft thing. That's it.
Oh,
right.
I really liked the Summer Game Fest last year.
Did you?
I was really impressed with the fact that we had gameplay trailer for Elden Ring. And I was like, shit, this is just on this? I wasn't expecting too much. But when we saw that, I was like, okay, that's...
Well, Matt, manage your expectations, mate. Yeah?
Yeah, mate.
You got to manage those expectations.
Geoff Keighley said to manage your expectations.
Are you
going to defy Geoff Keighley?
Your ultimate hero, Matt, has said to manage your expectations, yeah?
I mean, I've never said that in those words in my life. But we're still going to talk over for this because I'm excited. It may just be me. Maybe James and Sean, you said you'll be there at some point, wouldn't you?
I'll try and turn up as soon as I can, yeah.
We'll mention it at the end, but we're going to do a talk over on a bunch of these shows because, come on, I need some fucking semblance of E3 somewhere in my life.
But this is the problem, Matt. Stop trying to fill the hole. It's not going to be
a massive hole to fill. What am I going to do? Just spend June just crying?
Yes.
No, I want something. So talksovers are the closest I'm going to get to some kind of E3 excitement.
Matt's going to make himself a little E3, his own little E3 lanyard.
Yeah, in his little
Oh
room,
my god, that's going to be it. If there's no more E3 next year, it's going to be like, right, I'll fucking do it myself.
Yeah. That's what it takes. I'll do it.
Can you do a stream where you do like but you just like announce like Half-Life 3 and you like announce all this sort of stuff? You just do
hire out like a sports hall or something.
No, I mean it could just be in his room with the chroma key
like green screen.
We'll just get a load of like people off the street that haven't like showered in a couple of days and are real sweaty to just like crowd into the room with you, and it will be like being there.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Maybe we do this. Maybe we put together. Obviously not this year because it's this week. But next year, should we do our own E3 presentation where we just announce a bunch of shit that we want? Like
that would be incredible.
F-Zero, Half-Life. Like we just bring it all up. Let's just do it. Fucking let's do it. Well, let's do that.
I'll start planning now.
I should quickly mention, I mean, I'm not a Giant Bomb guy, so I have nothing to say about this, but
That's such a weird sentence.
Jeff Gerstmann has left Giant Bomb?
Yes.
No, what?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Just now?
Yeah, today's been announced.
So his contract must have come to an end now, right?
Exactly right. Basically, because today is the 1 year anniversary of Nextlander, which is the company.
Right, yeah, so he's got
the other setup. I mean, a lot of people are saying, it is end of an era. I mean, he's been there since like 2006 or something. I mean, it's absolutely incredible like careers out at Giant Bomb and GameSpot before that. But everyone's like, oh, good luck, whatever you do next. We know what's going to do next. He's done his 1 year contract. Now he's going to go over to Nextlander with Brad and Vinny and Alex.
Yep.
But still, I mean, unbelievable he's leaving, and I can't wait to see. I wonder where he goes next.
Wasn't the theory that he had a kid on the way and he was probably just taking the paternity leave?
I think I've got a feeling it was either that or it was the fact that he probably had, because he was higher up, I assume.
Yeah,
he probably had some sort of clause in his contract saying that he couldn't, or along with contracts or whatever. But interesting. Okay, all right, cool.
I mean, is that end of an era? I assume it is.
Massively.
A long time ago. Sure. Okay. It ended a good while back.
Giant Bomb arguably ended when Vinny, Brad, and Alex left.
Which is horrible to say because, I love Timur, who was on that show a lot, like once everything split up and all of that sort of stuff. He did a lot of work for Giant Bomb. But, I mean, the show was never what it was. And I'll be honest, I wasn't really digging Nextlander either.
I listen to that every week now, but I've stopped listening to Giant Bomb. But
okay.
Oh wait, I've just read I don't listen to Giant Bomb, but I've been listening to the podcast that Timur and Lucy James and Super Eyepatch Wolf have been doing on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Is that the same? Is that the same Jeff? Is that the Jeff you're talking about?
No, it's a different Jeff.
It's a different Jeff.
Okay.
Never mind then.
That's Jeff Bacala. He used to work for CNET, which is all part of like the whole Red Ventures GameSpot thing. And then when there's big shake-up of people coming, mostly people leaving, Jeff came in to basically say, okay, we're going to do like some new shows. Also, Lucy and Timur did another show with Jeff about like exploring the internet and weird videos. And then they did that thing you just mentioned. They've done a bunch of stuff to kind of rejuvenate the content they do on Giant Bomb. But yeah, it's just, the fact that Jeff Gerstmann is announcing this literally on the 1 year anniversary of Nextlander. I'm like, okay, so he had a 1 year contract remaining or whatever it was, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
I mean, big up to Moore as well. We got to get him back on this show at some point. It's
too Hollywood for us now. It's too big.
No, he'd do it. Tomorrow, do it definitely. 100. Yeah, he'd do it. He'd do it when he's Sean.
I don't know. What are you asking me for?
Because you're his mate, aren't you? I can't remember.
What? No, I mean I'm not. I mean, he's great. I'm not, but no, I wouldn't call him a mate. No.
Okay, all right. Something's happened there.
Sounds like that sounds like I'm saying that he doesn't deserve to be my mate.
Sorry to bring that up.
It's more that I worry about him hearing this and me being like, yeah, we're best pals.
Right, okay. Is that it for the news?
That's it for the news.
What you've been playing then? Should I start?
Sounds like you're gonna.
I feel like I should apologise to the listeners.
Because where do we start with that?
I want to talk to... What's your problem?
Just a lot of apologies probably, isn't there, to make? I
don't know, mate. I'm pretty confident about how I've been this week. Actually,
your attitude?
Pretty confident about how I've been. Apart from this bit, Matt, and that's that I was looking forward to playing Card Shark this week. It came out on Friday. I mean, we were promised code; it never arrived, so I bought it. But we don't go into that sort of stuff.
It's not a good look to be snarky about.
It's not a good look, is it? But it's the truth, Sean.
But he's done it now, sure.
Yeah, I fucking bought it anyway. The problem is, I wanted to play a hell of a lot more of this game before we spoke about this on the show. But unfortunately, I loaded it onto a machine that also has Lumines remastered on it, and that is just the wrong thing to do. I load up fucking the Switch and that little thing's there, and it's like, I'll have a quick game of Lumines before I get into this. And you never have a quick game of Lumines. Every game of Lumines is 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, that game. It goes on forever. Yeah. It never stops, never changes. You slightly improve your score. And I never played this on the Vita or whatever it come out on originally. It was just the PSP.
The
original PSP. God, thank God I didn't buy this for the PSP, because I don't think I'd be here today, Sean. I'd be somewhere in an underground sort of base playing Lumines still. It's honestly,
along with all the other people doing that in an underground base. Well, what are you talking about?
How do you know they don't exist?
That's true. I wouldn't. Yeah, that would be a secret, wouldn't it?
Oh, there's a base boy. Harry was telling me about it. He saw a YouTube video. No, so I've been playing that, but I did play a little bit of Card Shark, which, for those that are unaware of this game, it's a game. It's not what I expected. And
it's weird, isn't it?
It's very. Have you played it, Sean?
Yeah, I talked about it on the show, Dave.
What? When?
Like a few weeks ago. The demo came out.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Oh, you played the demo? Oh, sorry. Was it one that I wasn't on?
No, it's all right. You just weren't listening. Carry on.
Fast forward your bits. It's not what you expect, is it? It's like when I was told it was essentially a card game based around cheating at cards, I thought, it would be like a short sort of bunch of mini games that teaches you stuff along the way, and it kind of is that. But there's so much more around it as well, like this really interesting story, lots of characters. There's a system where you can pledge half of your money to the cheaters group, and I don't know what that's about yet. It's returning to various different venues that you've been before to try new tricks. It teaches you how to cheat at cards and then expands on that. It doesn't literally teach you. It tells you about some techniques, but obviously you're not learning how to.
You're not going to head to the casinos, are you? Yeah.
You're not going to try this out on your friends later. It basically.
But it does teach you the principles in a lot of detail, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it teaches you terminology and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But whereas cutting a deck in a very specific way is a very hard technique to do, in this, it's a quick time event where you're pressing left on the left stick. It replaces all that stuff. I am finding it absolutely thrilling, to play. So you've got all the stuff around it. You start just an average day. You start your camp, you talk to a few people, you learn some new techniques, you go out and pick venues to attend to, and you could go. There's kind of a narrative that sort of pushes you forward, but you can sort of go to various different venues at different times. You go there, and on the way there, your partner teaches you about how the technique that you've got to be using on this next thing, and you could try it as many times as you want. You can, you can go back steps, you can redo steps, all this sort of stuff as you're on your way to the venue. You get to the venue, and it's fucking nerve-wracking, because let me give you an example of one of the techniques it uses, right? So, and this is the first one, so I hope this isn't too much of a spoiler. There's two characters playing cards. Now, you're not actually at the table playing cards. There are versions of these games where you are sitting at the table and you're part of the game, but in this one you're not. You're the servant, and you walk over with a bottle of wine and you fill up the opponent's glass. While you're doing that, you're looking at their hand, looking at what cards they got, right? And if they've got the most number of one suit they've got is hearts, right? The next thing you do is you wipe the table with a cloth, but you wipe it in a specific way to indicate to your teammate that they've got lots of hearts, right? Or they've got lots of diamonds or whatever. And it's a different technique for each one. And if you get it right, then your partner wins the money. If you don't, then things go wrong and they can unravel from there. There's like a suspicion meter at the bottom of the screen that sort of goes up. The more you bet and the longer you take to carry out like actions or whatever, it goes up, and then you can get found out basically. And then it does this thing where it's like, okay, this opponent's better at the card, so I need to be more aggressive on this. So not only do I need to know what suit they've got, I need to know how many of that suit they've got. So for this one, you've got to remember the action for the suit, but then also do it the right amount of times to indicate how many of that card they've got. And it sort of expands from there. So when you're going into a situation like that, you are genuinely nervous about, if I get this wrong, then the whole thing, it doesn't feel like it goes, game over, you got it wrong. The story sort of continues.
Right.
And
that's awesome. It genuinely does give you that kind of tension that you might feel were you doing it in real life.
That was, because that's one thing I got from the demo. Like, I loved it, but also part of me was like, who can be arsed cheating? Like, it's so nerve-wracking. Like, it doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, God, yeah. Especially when... So this is set in, I think, here's what I'm going to say. Old school France. That's the era.
What a big era in history that was.
The old school era of French history.
Of France. Yep. And so people have got guns, as you know they do in old school France.
Famously, yeah.
So there is a situation where guns are pulled if you screw up or all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, man. I've been really enjoying the tone of it. I love the look of it. It's got a very distinctive look. Very I don't know. It just feels unique to look at.
The visuals are gorgeous, aren't they? Like, really lovely to look at.
Some of the a lot of it is quick time event. QTEs, and the biggest problem with that is that I'm playing on a Switch, and it just reminds me that the fucking Nintendo need to sort their buttons out. I'm not even kidding. Like, this isn't even a joke now. It's got to change. It's got to stop. Press A to shuffle, quick. Oh, where's A on this one? Why can't it be A on everything else? Can Nintendo, just for their next console, go, look, I know this is going to piss a lot of you off, right, because you're Nintendo fans, but we need to just choose the Microsoft buttons because everything else uses A as this one except for us. And X and Y and everything's in a different position. When you're trying to do that in QuickTime events on the fucking Switch, man, it's a nightmare. Like a total
I've probably
nightmare.
Said before, but it's a pain in the arse trying to teach Isaac how to play games as well.
Press the X
because I'm like, right, press A, and he's pressing B, and it's like, I can't be mad at him because it's fucking changed again.
Well, there's this, and
what's funny about that is that Elodie plays way more Switch than like Xbox. When we played Lego Builders, that was on Xbox, and she was constantly like cancelling because she's way more used to the way the Switch does it.
Well, obviously, it's the
Xbox
one that you play, but I would say a more universal one is the A where it is on the X button because, like, say PC games, right? The A, whatever controller it is, it's always A at the bottom, right?
Yeah, I think because obviously, like a lot of like most PC players who use a controller probably use the Xbox one. Now, I think.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get shouted at by the listeners. But
then you've also got on PlayStation, X is select.
Yeah, well,
and
it's
that's
cross,
at the bottom.
though, isn't it? We got shouted at that before.
X, cross.
That's a whole other minefield because the fact that in our games, in Western games, it's generally the bottom button is okay, and then the button to the right is no, but it's the other way around in Japan.
Yeah, that's why they're not going to change it.
That was always an issue. Like they've started swapping them around now, but I always remember. I think it was Final Fantasy VII used circle to OK things and X to cancel, but then in 9,
which is
it was swapped.
Correct. Like because like in Japan, like that's their version of like a tick and cross. So to them, it's really weird that we would switch it. Like. Yeah. So it's like, well, why are you using the tick as the no button? That's insane. But because that's just not part of our... I don't know what the word is.
Culture.
History.
Sorry, we should just say, we just had a little break and me and Dave are very tired.
It's true.
We were just talking about how tired we are. I think Matt's still a bit worse for wear after this stag do.
Well, I mean, I've just finished a can of Red Bull Zero because apparently that's a thing now. So I guess I'm just carrying the rest of this. You're welcome.
What's it taste like? Just like petrol?
No, it does just taste like Red Bull. I guess it's like their version of like Pepsi Max.
Yeah.
It was the only sugar-free energy drink the big Tesco had, because I wasn't going to buy a 4-pack of Monster Ultra.
Yeah, I think Sarah's suffering too. Didn't you fall up some stairs this weekend, Sarah?
Yeah, I did. No,
I shouldn't laugh. That's really bad.
I fell up one stair into the second stair. And then had to sit down because I thought I was going to throw up.
I was going to say, you can really fuck your knees doing that. Like,
yeah, I know. I have really fucked my knee. It is really sore. Oh, but the worst part is it was at a wrestling show. Basically, we were going into the VIP bit, and I was showing the bouncer my VIP wristband. I'd already been into the VIP bit. We'd watched a match, and then we went and got food, and then we came back, and it was coming back, and I was showing my wristband, and I was too focused on showing my wristband that I didn't realise the stair was there, so I tripped up the stair. My 2 friends were ahead of me, so they didn't realise it happened, especially as I just kind of just got up and carried on going as quickly as possible because I was mortified. So they went
take
to
the VIP thing off you and go, well, you're not a very important person anymore, you're just falling upstairs.
You're some idiot who falls up the stairs.
No, they didn't. But I had to I went and sat down while my 2 friends just went straight ahead, didn't realise anything had happened, went and watched the match that was happening. Meanwhile, I'm sat on the chairs behind them, just I had to take my jumper off because I started getting really hot and sweaty and thought I was going to throw up because it hurt so much. And then one of the girls was like, do you want me to go and get one of the medics? Do you want me to go and get one of the progress medics for you? And I was
St. John's ambulance.
No, they're hired by this wrestling promotion. They're proper serious medics. And I was like, no, because over the course of this show, they've dealt with ladders, tables, a surfboard, thumbtacks. I can't go to one of the medics at this wrestling show and be like, I fell up a stair and hurt my knee.
So whenever I go to a first aid course, they ask where you work and what the dangers are where you work, and it's always I work on a building site. And people, last week Gary cut his hand off. And it gets to me. It's I work in an office, and some of the sarcasm's quite sharp. It's don't really have the same. So Nintendo should change their buttons, or at least, at the very least, right? If you're, bringing a game out that uses QTEs on the Switch, please have some other indication of what button you should be pressing. Maybe show the diamond of buttons and highlight the one that I'm supposed to press or something.
Breath of the Wild does.
Yeah, that's a good game. That one, isn't it?
It's one of the best, I'd say.
I like that game. And so they know what they're doing, those Nintendo people. So
Boffins at Nintendo.
So that's it. That's Card Shark. I will play more of it this week, and I'll probably have more to say about it next week.
I'm going to get it. I'm very excited to play it. However, have you seen the reviews?
Oh, no. What? No, I don't. I try to avoid that stuff. Why?
It goes off the boil a bit, apparently. It's sort of, because it sort of promises there's 26 different tricks. What it actually means is there's about 5, and then there's lots of variations on them.
Sounds like a Stephen Mulhern video.
Yeah, £15 lanyard.
But I gather that if you're enjoying the story, that's plenty to carry you through. It's just not perhaps quite as varied as you might have imagined.
That's all right. I don't want it to go too nuts though, because some of it gets really I've got to remember this bit, then this bit, then this bit. It is quite tough. And I'm still trying to work out the structure of the game as well. So I will play more of it. More of it, Sean. Cool. But that's it from me. Let's get to Sarah. Sarah, what have you been playing?
I'll get the quick ones out of the way. I started finally playing Death Stranding.
Oh yeah.
That's certainly, there's some stuff going on there. I don't know what's going on. I've got no idea what's going on with that game. And it's the fact that it's I've only maybe actually physically played maybe like an hour's worth.
Oh, but you're about 8 hours into that game.
Oh, okay. See, you're just outside the credits then.
Yeah, pretty much.
You've seen Hideo's name about 1,400 times.
Yeah, and it seems like every half hour it's like, here's this new proper noun that is complete nonsense to describe something. It just the like exploring and it's so like just the like going about and being like, oh, I've got to get this thing from here and I'm trekking along a river and now I've got to go up a cliff. That's all really nice and really chill and really relaxing. And then the second the spooky guys that hang in the air, I can't remember what they're called because again it's just a nonsense made up word. It gets so stressful, like unbearably stressful, and I'm like, I don't think I like this game anymore. And then it's like, oh no, now you're just back to just like having a nice wander in the outside and it's all really pretty, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I do like this game again.
I will say, in those bits where you see those people in the air and you're like, oh no, it's all going to kick off, and they grab you and then suddenly there's oil everywhere.
They've not grabbed me yet because I guess I'm better at the game than you are.
Spoilers. Look forward to that.
But I will say, when that happens, you don't have to kind of stay and fight the boss, or you can basically just keep running so you're not in the oil, and eventually that'll stop. Okay. I did that for a lot of them because I was like, I don't want to fight, I just want to like explore. So a lot of them ones, I basically just ran to the edge of the oil, and then that kind of fight sequence ended. So you don't have to fight everyone. I mean, there's some, obviously, it will force you to fight. There are certain, obviously, specific boss battles throughout the game, but for the ones where you're like, okay, there's loads of, was it Time Rain or whatever it's called? I'm not sure.
Timefall.
Timefall, isn't it? I think. Yeah.
Timefall, yeah. When Timefall happens and you see the dudes in the air and then they may grab you, you can run away from almost all of them.
Okay.
So that's worth doing.
Cool. I mean, it's weird and I've got no idea what's going on, but some of the all the visuals are really, really, really cool. And I still want to know what's going on. So, like, I'll keep playing it. Like, I'm not playing it super often. I'm just kind of dipping in and out of it every now and again. But, yeah.
I think if you like it already, I think if you already like the exploring and you're vaguely interested in the story, I think you'll love this. Because, obviously the story is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, as much as I say that it is just complete nonsense, I kind of love that it is just complete nonsense. Because I like the fact that Kojima's
I'm with you with that.
Kojima's just clearly just like, fuck it, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And it's like, more power to you, my guy. Like, just do what you want to do.
This is the problem I've had with Kojima, though, for years. Because I've like, whenever I've played one of his games, I've sat there and I've gone, yeah, bring on the crazy shit. Like, bring it on. Like, bring on all this wacky imagery, this stuff that I don't understand. I'm well up for this. And that passion lasts about, I would say, 4 to 5 hours, and then these games are like 20, and I'm like, oh mate, okay, all right, frying eggs now, are we? Okay, whatever. That sort of, the enthusiasm for the wacky shit sort of fades away for me like pretty quickly, or outstays its welcome. I've never understood the Metal Gear Solid stuff. I'll never understand it. I mean, I played 2 about, like, I think I completed it twice when I was younger, and I've played through 4 and another one I can't remember. No, maybe it's just 2 and 4 that I completed, but I didn't understand what the fuck was going on in any of them.
No,
and
not a clue.
Sort of fell out of love with them.
But yeah, that's Death Stranding. It's an experience. It's super weird.
Yeah, it's great. It's the traversal, the exploring, and like you get more tools to make that easier because you're going like further distances. You'll see like more things in the world that other players have dropped down, like more ladders and other things that they drop later to help you out. And the story is ridiculous, but I don't think it gets in the way. And just like the general traversal, I just like the gameplay.
The story is ridiculous, but you don't think it gets in the way?
No, because there are cutscenes and stuff. But my overriding memory of that is just I just love just getting from A to B and taking the packages and the kind of adventures you have along the way.
Aren't there like half an hour cutscenes in this thing?
I mean, there are, but I don't know. I didn't think it'd gone away. It's silly, but I go over that. I just enjoy the general gameplay.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks gorgeous, and like what they do with like music and with setting the scene sometimes, and might go with like a mountain pass, and a certain song will play, or a certain song will play after like a big battle, and like maybe the rain stopped and the sun comes out. They do a lot of cool stuff with that and the environment, and it looks gorgeous as well. And I only played it on a PS4 Pro, admittedly, but I assume are you playing on PC or PS5, Sarah?
PS5, yeah. I got the director's cut.
Oh, yeah. So I bet it looks. Obviously, it's going to look even better. So
yeah, it looks absolutely stunning. It's really, really good looking. And yeah, as you say, like the music's really good. Cool. Yeah.
All right. What else you got for us?
So I would have had something different to talk about because I inevitably got back into World of Warcraft because that's like smoking. You never quit. You may quit for a little while, but it will get you back at some point and you will start playing World of Warcraft again, just like when you think you've stopped smoking and then you go out for some pints and someone offers you a cigarette and you're like, oh, go on then. But then the new Destiny 2 season started, so I guess we're back to talking about Destiny 2.
Hey!
Yay!
I've been playing this as well.
It's really good. It's a really good season. So it's the season of the Haunted. The Leviathan is back, which was a raid.
Was it the first raid?
Yeah.
In Destiny 2, I mean.
Yeah, it was.
The first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, hold on. So the one that I did. Yeah, I did the raid in. Oh no, maybe I didn't do it in Destiny.
Yeah, you did Vault of Glass in Destiny 1. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting. It was very different to how they do raids now, and they've not actually done a raid like it since. So when the Leviathan first launched, I think there was only like a couple of boss battles, and then they kept opening up more and more of it over the weeks, and then they also had the Menagerie, which was like a match-made like multiplayer activity that you could do. This all happened at the point that I dropped off of Destiny 2 before I kind of came back to it. So basically they've brought back the Leviathan, but it is now taken over by this weird fungus, which if you played during it was during one of the seasons of the last expansion. This mission came in called Presage, which took place on this abandoned spaceship. And basically you're asked to go onto the spaceship and find out what's going on, because it's literally just appeared out of nowhere. So there's this weird fungus on this spaceship. That mission is almost like a survival horror game. There's loads of like jump scares, loads of creepy music. They've brought all that back, and they've made it even more scary and even more jump scares in the seasonal mission that you have to go back and play like every now and again. But basically without going too deep into the lore, there's ghosts and you have to shoot the ghosts, and there's a guy who's gone mad and he's trying to get all the ghosts, so you have to stop him getting the ghosts.
Well, you're talking about the little floating ball ghost thing.
No, talking about like floating spirits. Red guy ghosts who talk to you and tell you what's going on. Can I just say, can I play devil's advocate for just a moment, right?
Yeah. One of the complaints that you hear about Destiny 2, or Destiny in itself, is when new content comes out, it seems to be regurgitated old content. I mean, specifically when I was playing it, where you'd have new enemies that were just the same enemies but a different colour, right? Here we're saying that they've just brought the raid out from the first raid from Destiny 2. So they must have done something to it to make it...
So basically it's all covered in this weird fungus, and it's very much been... You can tell that it's kind of like fallen into ruin, because when it's the Leviathan, it is, you go in there and it's all gold and regal and there's like gems, and it's very much like this kind of opulent palace. When you go there now, it's fucked, basically. And this is it. I found the tweet that is the best explanation for this season's story. So, a deposed emperor with space madness is trying to make the moon so haunted that it will start leaking. So it's time for you and your friends to do a bunch of seances on his spaceship to keep the ghosts in. Unfortunately, the ghosts know all the embarrassing shit you did as a team. That's that is basically what is going on.
Because that's why it's like the story's actually quite compelling, isn't it? So these ghosts that are dotted around, they're all like basically each person gets a malevolent spirit, right, when they're on board this ship, and it's always a reflection of like their regrets or whatever.
Wait, hold on. So they legitimately go through what? Sean, when you play this, do they play Bike with a Spike? Is this
a mistake, mate? One of the best things I've ever done. This is particularly interesting because one of our best mates now is Crow, who used to be Prince Uldren, who was sort of a goodie, then he was a baddie, then we killed him, and then he became a Guardian, same as everyone else.
We killed him because he killed Cade 6.
Yes. Crucially, not a good guy, but then he became a Guardian, lost all his memories, and was sounding.
And he's now my precious emo baby boy Crow, who I love so much.
Exactly.
And he's just sad all the time.
So he's on this spaceship with you doing these weekly missions, and he's being like taunted by the ghost of Prince Uldren, who was his former self. And it's been like, I mean, we're only 2 weeks in, but it's been sort of quite nice, like him sort of basically like the first week you do this mission and it doesn't work because he's still trying to like argue with this representation of who he used to be, and then week 2 is him like learning to accept his past and how to process it in a healthier way. And like obviously it's space magic and it's ghosts, etc., but I think there is quite a nice sort of sincere message in that. But as I say, this is only week 2, so I'm really intrigued to see where it goes and like whether it's just Crow that you do this stuff with, or whether like other characters are going to come in.
It's not. So there's going to be. So if you look in the triumphs, you can see that there's like 6 missions.
Okay.
One of them is going to be Zavala. And you do see her. You do see her in the intro mission. His nightmare, just to give them like their proper name and differentiate them from the friendly ghosts that we have. Mm-hmm. So his nightmare is his dead wife.
Oh shit!
And so some of the triumphs that you might have already got will give you lore books that start to reveal some of the story around her. So she, I think she's her and Zavala is going to be possibly like next week's one, or maybe like in like a couple of weeks. I don't know who the other. Keitel, the Cabal Empress. I think she's going to be one of them.
Cool.
Callus. Her nightmare isn't going to be Callus because he's not dead.
Right. Yeah, he's just been drinking too much darkness juice.
Yeah, I think in one of the cutscenes we see that her nightmare is, I think, Gaul.
It's Gaul, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, who we killed who was the big bad at the very, 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 very start of Destiny 2. Yeah. He's the one that destroyed the tower and took our light, and then we had to go kill as the very, very, very first boss of Destiny 2. So, yeah, there's a lot of... I feel like the last 10 minutes of conversation means nothing to anybody else.
I mean, it's weird because so I've returned for this as well. So I played The Witch Queen when it came out, and then sort of didn't really dive into that first season, but I've gone back in for this one, and it is fucking ridiculous, the phrases and stuff. When it's I still don't fully understand how this season works, but I gather it's basically the same loop of do stuff to get a material that you then do the seasonal activity, and then you can spend that material on getting more stuff from the seasonal activity.
Yeah, and then each week you have a mission which will like progress the story on. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
There's also a new dungeon this season which kind of goes more into, it's basically you exploring the mindscape of the mad space emperor who's trying to make the moon haunted.
Right.
But I haven't had a chance to do it yet. But apparently it's very good.
Cool.
Oh,
right.
Well,
Destiny 2, it's real good.
Still.
I mean, I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I can't recommend it to anyone. It still has that same problem of like it's so involved in its own nonsense now, which I really like, but it's I don't know, it just feels like it's so far gone at this point.
Yeah, it's real frustrating because I mean, as we've kind of touched on, like the narrative in this season is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Oh, like there's a each week you can also go and get these like little like radio messages. Once you've done the story mission for each week, you can then go and like find in like one of the hub areas, you can find these like radio messages to listen to. And there was one, I think actually in the first week, that was just absolutely heartbreaking. So yeah, like that, because obviously this season is all about these characters kind of coming to terms with their nightmares and with their kind of past grief and trauma and regrets. It's like, okay, yeah, it's a story about doing seances to stop the moon being haunted because a mad space rhino wants to make it more haunted. Yes, on one hand it's that, but then on the other hand it's this, it's become this very personal story about coming to grips with your regrets and learning from your mistakes, and it's this very kind of like quite personal, quite heartfelt story. So and obviously they've got to a really, really good point with how they run the seasons and like the flow of the seasons, in that Sean was saying, and that, you do stuff, you get stuff, you go do the new seasonal activity and you do that for a little bit, and then you go do the seasonal mission, and that's basically like the flow each week, and they've really kind of nailed how that works from season to season. But yeah, it's so hard to recommend it to anyone because it is almost impenetrable if you don't have a friend who is deep into it, who can help you through it until you find your feet. If you don't have that, you are really going to struggle with it. And I hate that, because I would love to be able to tell people, yes, go play it, it's amazing. But then you always have to go, but you won't know what to do.
I mean, I've always had that with this game. Even when I was playing it regularly, a new bit of content would come out, and I'd be like, right, can someone just say in basic, where do I go? What do I need? And what button do I press? That's pretty much it. But it's mad that game is still. I mean, we're gone past the 10-year plan now, right? That was 10 years ago for the original Destiny.
The 10-year plan that they've talked about is the 10-year plan for Destiny 2.
No, not when the first Destiny come out. They were talking about a 10-year plan then. Yes, they were, weren't they?
Well,
when the first Destiny launched, they were talking about the 10-year plan.
I mean, possibly. So they have announced that there is 2.
Oh, we're not even there, because it's 2014 it launched the first episode.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's
2 years, just 2 years away.
Just drop it, yeah.
Yeah, and there's 2 more. There are 2 more expansions coming for Destiny 2 that they have confirmed, which will take us up to the end of the Darkness and Light saga, but potentially not the end of Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So I've just checked. Yeah, the 10-year plan, it was from the original Destiny onwards, but it went out the window a long time ago. Apparently part of the whole thing was like, oh, everything we put in is going to be, like, it's all going to be part of the game for the next 10 years.
Oh, was it? Right.
I mean, we haven't even got all the content from Destiny 2 still in Destiny 2, so it's definitely not.
I mean, they brought some of it back with the brought the Leviathan back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine though if literally everything was in the game? There'd be too much to do.
It wouldn't fit on my Series S for one thing.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've also got Diablo written down. Matt, you've got this written down as well. I didn't have you down as a Diablo fan.
No, I've never played it before, but it came out and I saw people raving about it. So I've only played about half an hour. So, and I know you've played a lot more, Sarah.
Just a little bit.
How much have you played?
I don't know. It won't. I don't have a. There's no timer. But I'm.
Numbers don't go up that far.
I'm level 54. Paragon levels start at 60.
I mean, those sound like big numbers, don't they?
I binged the entirety of Stranger Things season 4 while playing it over the bank holiday.
Oh my! Really?
Yes.
So all 7 episodes, but you're also playing this at the same time?
Yes. That's ADHD. One piece of media at a time is not enough.
So this is like the free-to-play Diablo game on mobile, but it's also on PC, and it's like cross-progression and all sorts, isn't it? So
yeah,
but it's out on both.
Yeah, basically, it was only ever meant to come out on mobile, and then loads of people kind of kicked off that it was only coming out on mobile because obviously Diablo's been.
Oh, was this the one they announced at their whatever con?
BlizzCon.
And yeah, people went crazy. Like it was a really bad one that year, wasn't it? They announced loads of stuff that everyone hated.
There's that massive twat in the audience saying like, when you're going to announce a real game or whatever. It was a very snarky, twatty comment.
Even though
April the 1st.
Even though Diablo 4 had already been announced at that point. Like,
that's right.
We already knew that they were working on Diablo 4, and then they went, oh, by the way, there's also a mobile one, which NetEase Games are making, and people kind of kicked off over it, and it's like, but...
I remember that, yeah.
Diablo 4's coming. They're working on it. If you want a proper Diablo, just wait for that. But yeah, so basically, they kind of realised that people were just going to emulate the Android version on PC, so they were like, fine, we'll just put it on PC ourselves. It's not... You can tell that it is a fairly quick and easy port of the mobile version. Personally, I much prefer playing it on mobile, although playing it in 60 FPS mode does make my phone very toasty, and is not particularly nice to the battery life.
You can change, can't you?
Yeah,
because it's like defaults are 30, but you can do it at 60. But it will say this may increase the temperature of your phone and decrease battery life as well.
Yeah, it really does.
Phones get way too hot, don't they? Phones do get way too hot. My fucking iPhone sometimes, it's just like, what are you doing? Why? This shouldn't be legal to basically turn it into an iron. Makes no sense.
It does get
You love
really
an iron though, Dave. What are you complaining about?
Yeah, not my fucking
that's
pocket.
Your dream, isn't it?
Just maybe I should fucking you
like some keys in the fridge to counterbalance it. Yeah, go
on. But yeah, it's and also on PC, it's like listed as like a open beta. So I guess that's an easy way to get around the fact that they're like, well, it's going to be janky, and it is pretty janky. But it's fine. But
so, what's the difference then between this and a Diablo game then? What sets it aside now that it's not just on mobile? What sets it aside from, say Diablo 3?
Microtransactions.
Oh, of course, yeah. Of course.
I'd heard about this. There were news stories about it. I figured as we were talking about it here, it wasn't worth putting in the news. But yeah, it costs like $110,000 to fully level up a character or something.
I read that.
Not to fully level up. It's to like fully upgrade.
Not even that. You don't even fully level up your character for that amount. Jesus.
That's only halfway.
I've not watched any of those videos because I don't care. To be perfectly honest, I imagine it's that amount to get all of the gear, all of the legendary gems, upgrade them all fully. But I mean, you don't really need to do all that. I mean, So I've sunk a silly amount of hours into it. I did buy the deluxe season, so you can get like there is a season pass, and again you rank up the season pass and you get stuff, and there's a free track and a paid for track, as is tradition now. You can get like just a standard one for like just a standard season pass for like $5, or there's a deluxe one with some extra cosmetics for like £13. And I was like, I've already got more than £13 worth of enjoyment out of this, so screw it, I'll get the deluxe one. There's also like one-time only bundles that like you do a dungeon and then it's like, here's this one-time only bundle that new ones keep unlocking, but they have like a smaller and smaller discount each time. So I also bought a couple of like the early ones of those. Like one was like 80p and one was like £1.50. So I was like, whatever.
Oh, so you unlock them and it gives you the opportunity to buy them?
Yes, yeah.
You don't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
It's all pretty... and then there's like... there's like a currency that you can buy that then you can use for cosmetics. I think there's like some other bundles and stuff. It's pretty standard. It's pretty standard microtransaction stuff, really. And like the game does very early on, the game does go pretty heavy at go to the shop, check out the shop, there's stuff to buy, look at the things that you can buy. But very quickly you can start ignoring that. And then it's just a really pretty solid mobile version of Diablo. Like, it does start to gate some of its content behind, like, levels. So it'll be like, the story will continue once you hit level 25, level 30, etc. And that's kind of its way of getting you to go and kind of explore some of the other content that it's got on offer. So it's got like these like challenge rifts. There's like an 8-player raid. There's PvP, which plays almost like a kind of MOBA light. Oh god, there is so much stuff to do in that game. There's also like a kind of faction war thing. And you have to, like, to join the, like, bad guys, you have to, like, enter a lottery and hope that you're one of the players that get picked in that day's lottery to be able to then go and do this, like, do this quest line and get into this, like, faction and unlock all of the content and activities that they've got. Like, especially compared to, because I played Diablo 3 at launch and it was fine. There was a story, and you did the story, and that was kind of it. Whereas the amount of stuff that's on offer here, right out of the gate, is mad. It was a shock.
I suppose they've got to have that, though, right? I mean, if they're launching a free-to-play game like that, it can't be something that's like, wait for more content. They want that stuff there instantly, because you need those people engaged as soon as possible, so they start pumping money into the shop.
Yeah,
you know, it has 100%. To be built like that.
Yeah. I was going to say something else, but the thought has now left me. So yeah,
a couple of things I've noticed is
that won't come back.
You have that's gone now.
That's gone. That's gone forever.
Yeah. You have to be online all the time, don't you, to play this?
Yes.
I think I was having like internet troubles, or I was playing like trying to play on 4G or whatever it was, and I went to airplane mode quickly, and it like kicked me out to like the main menu or like, pause the game.
Actually, that's what I was
going to try and play
actually.
This today, and and I got that. I was going through the character selection, creation stuff, and I think I just lost Wi-Fi for a second, and it was like, nope, back to the start. I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's because this was actually a surprise when I started playing it. So obviously I went through like the tutorial and stuff, and the tutorial plays like all the like Diablo 2 and 3. I never played the first Diablo, but Diablo 2 and 3 I've put an absolute silly amount of time into over the years. And they are primarily single player games. Like you can set up, I think you'd have to set up a server in Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, you'd like invite your Battle.net friends. But primarily it's a single player game, but you can just have people join you. So started going through the like kind of tutorial / intro thing for Diablo Immortal, and you get to the end of that, and then there's like a little loading bit, and then all of a sudden there's just like loads of other people and loads of other like player controlled characters, and I was like, who are you people? Get out of my game! Like,
There's a whole chat going on, isn't there?
Yeah,
basically.
There's like a chat.
They're real.
And stuff.
They're not. It's not like one of those fake ones that they're doing.
It's basically, not only is it a free-to-play mobile version of Diablo, it is a free-to-play mobile MMO version of Diablo. So when you are out in the world doing, like, occasionally, if there's like a big story bit, it'll put you into like a soloed instance. But yeah, it's almost kind of like the MMO version of the game as well, which was a surprise. But I'm kind of used to it now because I just turned the chat off and hid it so I don't have to see it. Also because I didn't realise that once it just like picked a server for me when I started the game. So I was like, fine, that server, fine. Didn't realise that your character is locked to that server, and I'm on a Russian server, apparently.
Oh.
So all of the chat is in Russian. There's a lot of also like there's also a lot of like pro-Ukrainian guilds around as well, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so I very quickly just like hid all the chat. I'll probably start another character on an English-speaking server.
Yeah, because it's definitely, you can definitely choose your server when you start.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure it was before or after you set the character up, but I definitely got the ability to choose the Europe server.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I picked it's a European server. I think it's just a Russian-speaking server. But I mean, there's so many character classes in the game. Like I will start another character on another server at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. But then I'm pretty. I just don't really care about microtransactions. Like, I'm sure there's a bigger conversation to have about the morality and ethics around them. But speaking very
James Farley will have that
I
conversation with you.
I'm absolutely up for having that conversation at some point, but speaking very personally, like, I just like playing Diablo on a very warm phone. That's probably going to burn my fingers.
I've never played the Diablo game before, but this has been great so far. And I'm playing it with it does have like on-screen kind of the controls, and those seems to work really fine. But then I started playing with my Razer Kishi, so I put the phone inside the controller.
Oh, has it got controller support?
Yes.
Yeah, and it does it instantly, and then like is brilliant because it looks awesome on the phone. It controls incredibly well with the Razer Kishi, so that's how I've been playing it since then. I mean, again, I've only played like an hour, I guess max, but no, it seems great so far, and the fact that I can play it with the controller, it feels fantastic to play. I'm really impressed actually. Even like the opening cinematic looks great on the phone.
Yeah, graphically it's beautiful. On phones, like I'm playing on I got the iPhone 13 Pro Max because I'm an awful person.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, it looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more. Man, I haven't really come into a lot of the microtransaction stuff too badly yet, but no, I mean, I heard it was good, and I heard a lot of people playing it, so I wanted to give it a go. And yeah, so far, really, really impressed. And again, having never played one of these games, never really kind of understood what the deal was, what they're about. I guess I can see very quickly why people would sink hundreds of hours into it, because it's just satisfying to play and just to get through. And I bet again, if you're playing with your mates, maybe on chat, it's just I can see how the hours can fall away playing a game like this.
Right. Okay. Was there now? That's everything on your list, Sarah. Matt, you've got a game called Synergy. Is Synergia? I've not heard.
Yeah,
of this.
I'm still playing it basically. I've talked about it the last 3 weeks.
Of course, this is the one that you were playing. This is another. So you're still digging it, right?
James has finished this now, so I'm looking forward to talking to him about it. I still haven't finished it. I haven't put as much time into it as I like, but when he gets back, I'm excited to hear what he thinks about the game overall. I think he liked it. But no, I'm still playing that game. That's it.
And Sean, you've got the last game on the list.
Brief one. So after Dave was talking about the new Top Gun stuff on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, I
believe I was talking about the Top Gear stuff on Flight
Simulator. Sorry, Top Gear plane stuff. I just loaded it up and, streamed it, because who's got the room for that on their Xbox Series S? Just loaded up the whatever they call it, the suborbital flight in the mad stealth plane. It's fucking unreal.
Yeah, I've done it as well now.
Man, like I don't know what I was expecting. I think I naively assumed that you just put it at full speed and then pulled up, and then there you go, you're in space. Turns out, a bit more complicated than that.
It really is. It makes you go for it all as well, doesn't it?
I thought NASA were fucking at it, mate. You just point up, obviously.
How many attempts did it take you to do it?
The second time I got it.
Right, okay. So yeah, it was like the third I think it was the third for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting really frustrated. I was like, why is this not working? It was like, I've kind of misunderstood one of the instructions.
Yeah, they're a bit because I sent you a voice message, didn't I, Dave? Because I was saying, so when you're first doing it, so it's really good in that it obviously, as I say, this is like a really complicated maneuver to do in real life, but it walks you through it step by step, right? I've never been good at flight sim. I know nothing about planes. I just haven't played it for ages. Just loaded it up and it's like, right, basically press this, do this, and you've got all these little objectives that appear, and then you tick them off as you go. And and it was when like you've reached like a certain height, and then it just comes up with a new objective that just says rotate to invert, and I was like, sorry, what? So I was like, does it mean turn the plane upside down?
It does,
and it fucking does.
They should have just told you to do a barrel roll.
That's true, or to do half a barrel roll. Yeah, it would have been fine.
Yeah, everyone would have understood that.
Yeah. So you kind of have to. Yeah, you sort of invert the plane, and then you sort of go down a bit again, don't you, Dave? And that sort of gives more momentum.
You head towards the ground, which was freaking me out.
Yes, whilst upside down, and then then you flip it and then fly up again, and then you activate the scramjets. And it's actually incredible. Even, as I say, being a complete idiot and just being led by the nose through the whole experience, just the music is stunning.
So good. I mean, the music in those, we've said before, the music in the sort of, what they call it, the sort of scenic
the Discovery flights.
Yeah, the Discovery flights. I mean, it's so atmospheric, really works.
Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely fucking nails it on this. Like the way it builds up and stuff. It's like, oh my god!
It's like it totally gets that it is a little bit terrifying.
Totally.
Like because it's a thing in flight sims that it's like, well, taking off is all right, but how about landing? And when you're just in this plane, like basically in space, you're just like, can you imagine doing this in real life? And just being like, there is no way out of this for me without doing something insanely difficult, and if I get it wrong, I die. Like, it's fucking weird, man. And you just get a sense of that, and just how sort of otherworldly and just insane it is that you can just, we have planes that can just do this, right?
That's basically how I feel about TCGSCON.
Exactly.
Same kind of maneuver.
Yeah.
Mate, you need to get that sorted before we enter the arena, because you're going to get absolutely pelted by lasers.
I don't think I am. I'm going to destroy everyone on that.
You're like this every time.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He's like this every time in anything he does, and he always fails. So...
I definitely 100%. I was ridiculously competitive on the stag do. We had this like stupid drinking game, and I lost basically most of it. And I got it. So yeah, my competitiveness does not stop my skill set. Let's say that much.
Wait, should that not be the other way around?
Yeah, I think
no.
Your skill
doesn't
set
matter
does
how
not
skilled
affect.
or lack of skill I am. I'm still going to be competitive regardless of the quality of my play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your skill set doesn't affect your competitiveness.
All that.
Yeah. and like, we're going to talk about physics now, guys. Strap in.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no.
That's right. It's just little things that like the game does that you're just like, oh yeah, this isn't scripted. This is just because it's just such a weirdly robust simulation of flight. So like when you break the sound barrier, you got the external camera, you can only hear the plane's engine if the camera is behind the plane. And it's like, yeah, of course. Because like
I even noticed that.
If you spin the camera around, the engine just cuts out completely.
And then fucking camera, did the camera go a bit nuts for you though? Like, it's like, well, you're not supposed to be up this high, so the game doesn't really cope with that too well.
Yeah, that was weird. And just the fact that like the like the heat on the plane starts building up, and then you see that glow on it.
Yeah, that's right.
And again, you're just like, that's not like a scripted thing. That's because somewhere in the game, it's simulated what temperature the fucking plane is. Like, it's just nuts. And it's, like if you've never been asked about Flight Sim, or if you were when it came out and haven't been since, like, it's worth just streaming it or downloading it just to experience that once. And then
after doing it, I sent a message to John Denton, fan of the show, and said, a fan of the show, friend of the show.
You'll love
come on now.
I mean, he is a fan. But I said, John, you got to do this. And he said, well, I'm not going to, but it sounds like you had a lot of fun. And I just thought, yeah, I did, mate. I did.
I mean, that's kind of my thoughts with it. Like, I'm never going to do this, but it's cool. It's cool that it's got all of this like detail and stuff
to it,
and
Sean.
It's nice that you're having fun with it.
That's it. That's all we're gonna get. There's the line.
Patronising.
I'm glad you're
bastards.
enjoying it. That's it. Yeah. Cool.
Unbelievable.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying Destiny then.
I am. Thanks.
Yeah, well, I'm enjoying Flight Sim. Right, okay, that's what we've been planning this week. We haven't got long for some questions, but let's fit a few in before the end. Sean Bell.
If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Sean Richardson says, given the David and James reveal that they've never seen Top Gun, could we get a TCGS movie club as one of the bonus shows? We'd also love to know what your Top Gun handles would be.
Oh shit, we did that. We did that for a little bit, didn't we? There's an episode where James watches the Pixar films for the first time. And he goes through those. That was pretty fun.
I'd be happy to do that. Top Gun's a good film.
Yeah, maybe we do that.
I really want to see a new one.
We do some film. Yeah, one of us has to watch a film we've never seen before.
Yeah,
we'll think about it.
I've never seen Top Gun either.
Oh, fucking right. Well,
Jesus.
Looks like you've just volunteered to be on the show, Sarah. So
I also just don't. I don't want to watch it.
You need to. Sorry, you need to watch. No, hold on. Sarah needs to watch Games Master Dave Perry playing Mario.
Oh yeah,
before she watches Top Gun.
I don't want to watch Top Gun.
It must be nice coming on the show and being assigned homework.
Lots of work, yeah.
Bunch of blokes really angry at you because you haven't watched like their favourite things.
But yeah.
No, Top Gun's...
Yeah, I want to see the new one so bad. Everyone says it's just amazingly good fun. I really enjoyed the first one because it's just classic. And people say, if just the new one it just leads on for that, and it just proves that Tom Cruise is just absolute box office, and I really want to see it, but just haven't had the chance yet.
There's some problems with Tom Cruise, remember? Does me in a bit.
I know, but he did the funny dancing in Tropic Thunder, didn't he? So
that's a point, actually, yeah. No, that is fine.
With the prosthetic, slightly larger hands.
Now that's a film.
That is a film.
That is a good film.
I mean, definitely some elements of it probably haven't aged well. But yeah.
No,
it only came out about 4 years ago, didn't it?
No, man, that's like 10 years old.
No way.
Yeah, that's
really?
as old as the Destiny 1 10-year plan.
Yeah. I watched it maybe about a year ago. I think it still stands up. I still think it's clever enough to stand up.
Including
because it's
the use of blackface.
Yes, because it is taking the piss out of
I know, but I don't know.
The concept. I personally I fully get the argument to the contrary, but personally I think it still really stands up.
I know what you mean, because it's
14 years old.
It is poking fun at the idea of 14 years, holy shit. It's poking fun at the idea of an actor thinking they're above it, basically.
Because he's obviously trying to be like, oh, it's really serious, and I'm a method actor, and I'm too smart for it to be problematic, sort of thing.
And he is called out by someone who is actually black, which helps. What would our Top Gun handles be? We skip that.
What's a Top Gun handle?
You know, like your call sign. So if you're a pilot, what do people call you over the radio? Can I be...
Cool Dave.
What?
Cool Dave.
Cool Dave. I think it's usually one word. Is it?
Yeah.
Could I be? Cool could I be the even cooler Dave?
No.
Too long.
Too many words. Can I be Milkman?
That's two
also
words.
Too long.
That's not. No, that's one word.
Well, if you say, it's two syllables.
If you say it like Milkman, then that's two words. You've got to say Milkman, then it's one word.
Milkman. Yeah.
Milkman.
Spider-Man.
In the middle of combat, I'm not saying milkman.
What are you saying then?
If I've got a bogey on my stick, Sean,
with me.
I'm not saying milkman.
Just call him Milk.
Yeah, just Milky. Maybe just Milky.
No, 2 syllables.
No, you can have more than 1 syllable.
Might have been too many. Actually, might have been. Fuck, That's what I'd get people to call me, because then when they're talking on the radio, it sounds like something's gone wrong while they were trying to talk to me. Listen, I'm up here, fuck, They're like, everything all right? Yeah, I'm just saying your name, fuck, All right, well, what's happened now? That's my gag.
He's a gag man.
What's yours, Matt?
I'm more character based.
Go on then. What's
Chop.
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 Yeah, I like that.
Chop.
Just chop. I like pork chops.
Milky and chop.
It's Sean Sweet.
What about lamb chops?
I eat them as well. And judo chops.
Yeah.
Like
all kinds of chops.
I like all the chops, so therefore, maybe chops. Maybe it's now chops.
Chops?
It was chop, now it's chops.
Chops.
Oh, Top Gun.
But then it just makes me think of chops as like your mouth, isn't it? Chops.
Yeah, like mutton chops.
Well,
like
yeah.
Sideburns. That's what I think of when you say chops.
There you go.
Not in the skies above America where I'm doing Top Gun shit.
Matty Mouth Murray. That's what we call you.
Chop.
You got some chops.
Chops.
Sarah?
I don't know.
It's a bit long.
Yeah, I know.
One word, Sarah, come on.
The rule is just like one word.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm pretty sure they're all one word, yeah.
Okay, I want mine to just be sweets, because I like the
like
the idea of it sounding a little bit sexist.
Yeah,
like a little bit like old school, like old school.
What height are you flying there, sweets?
There you go. But I'm like taking it myself and being like this like badass pirate, so it's all like subverting expectations and shit. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're reclaiming it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call Babe then.
Yes.
That works.
So Sean, you sounded a bit excited about the concept.
I love it.
Yes.
This is the most confidence Matt has shown in a long time. Once people call him Babe.
We got to encourage it.
That's my new nickname, Babe.
Right. Okay. Robert Smith from Bognor Regis.
Not Robert Smith. Not Robert Smith from The Cure.
No, because he was born in Blackpool and then grew up in Crawley, Dave.
But Robert Smith from The Cure lived in Aldwick, which is in Bognor, for a long time.
Oh, did he? Oh, fuck, maybe it is him then.
So maybe not from there, but he certainly lived there.
Maybe it is actually.
Never saw him once.
Robert Smith from The Cure. He says in Sean's Shipbreaker stream last week, he described the game's job of dissecting spaceships as 99% relaxing, 1% terror. I wondered, what's the 1% terror in your real jobs?
Wow, where do I begin?
The one of my buildings burns down, and then it's all my fault.
It's never happened, though, has it?
No, well, I can't talk about it
to our knowledge
that you know of.
No, it's never happened. That's never happened, but it's a genuine fear that something could happen.
Yeah.
That's why it's 1%. It's never happened though.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah. All right. That's all I wanted to talk about.
I think I've said, I have to be annoyingly vague about my job. But like I've in the past have managed like a couple of boards, right, with people who are actually sound, but the organisation I work for are weird about this stuff. And
motherboard.
Oh yeah, bodyboard.
just slabs of wood.
Washboard.
Cardboard.
And so when you're sending out an email to like 30 people who, as I say, there's just this weird weight of like, oh, you have to treat them correctly or else like as if any of them would ever have a go at you, or it's really weird. But yeah, that's always nerve-wracking, just sending out emails and stuff with like loads of documents and fucking
yeah.
See, mine was an email one as well. But so they've got rid of it, thank God. But I used to have, I use it now. That's how I know that they got rid of it. But on MailChimp.
Oh man, MailChimp, yeah.
A few years ago, MailChimp's got so many issues. This is just one of them. But a few years ago, it used to be you'd make the email, you'd have your list, and just as you're about to send it, you'd click like send, and then it would have like a confirmation where you'd have to click send again. and it would have this animation of this big red button and like this monkey finger above it, like trembling above it, and just that animation it's just anxiety in an animation above this button that you have to click to send out this email to like 100,000 people, and it doesn't matter how many times you've checked all of the copy and all of the links and all of the images and everything. The moment you see that trembling monkey finger above the button, it's like, oh god, everything's wrong, like, and it's just fear until you send it. And now they've got rid of it, so it's still slightly anxiety inducing to send out anything, because as you say, you constantly think that, oh no, what if there's an error that I didn't get? But it's not as bad now.
Cool.
Yeah, what if I don't BCC everyone and I just CC everyone? And imagine...
Oh, we've had that a couple of times before.
We have.
There was a big one with a PR agency did that once. And it was... but they was sat a little bit more specific than that. I can't remember it, so there's no point of going into it, but
good
someone's done that to us before. What a great story.
Okay.
Like the amount of things you can check. Okay, there's no typos, and like it's not just me. Multiple people have checked it, and it goes out as like there is a typo. Like,
but who cares?
I mean,
where it goes out to a lot of people when it's like a big press release or it's a very important thing. Then yes, I care.
Or if you put something on social media with the wrong date on it.
Well, imagine that, Sarah.
Yeah, imagine.
What an idiot.
The other week I was asked this report that's going out, right? And someone sent it me like, oh, can you just have a look at this? Like, it's basically there, but I just need another pair of eyes on it just to make sure there aren't any like, stupid errors or anything. I found like 20 odd errors in it. And I had to like...
well, that's good. I bet never leave.
Well, probably. But then, when you're like, oh, you just wanted me to just basically go like, yes, it's fine. But no, here's 20 screenshots with stuff circled and arrows.
I thought you were a bit out of order. Some of it was very nitpicky, Sean. And why we're talking about it on the show is quite,
We've got to make sure it goes out right, David.
Trying to embarrass me. Okay.
Last question, because it's getting late. MD Krabuffs says, what is the tallest building you've been to the top of?
Good question. I think mine's the Shard. Is the Shard bigger than the Empire State Building?
I wouldn't have thought so.
I'd have thought so. The Shard's fucking massive, isn't it?
I mean, we can check.
What's taller? The Shard
fucking hell.
Or Empire?
So while Dave's doing his research, my answer's the walkie-talkie. Which because I've been to, in London, the one that looks like a walkie-talkie. I think I'm pretty sure it has a proper name, but it is known as... Oh, so it's the Fenchurch building.
Fuck you, Sean.
Okay, right.
So yeah, I've been to Sky Garden at the top of there and had dinner. It was lovely.
What? Which one have you been to? I weren't listening.
Mackey's.
Sky Garden at the top of the Fenchurch building, a.k.a. the walkie-talkie.
Right, I know that's smaller than the Shard. Also,
all right. Fucking hell.
Also, I've written down in the search in Google, what's taller, Sean? I've written that because my brain's not working. Right, okay, good. So your answer, please, Matt.
I was just seeing how tall the Rockefeller Center is. That's the tallest building I could probably remember. So probably the Rockefeller Center in New York, what? But I don't know. I haven't measured it. You know what I mean?
The Empire State's bigger than the Shard. Actually, there's 3 different. Oh my god, I've looked at 3 different graphics and they're showing the scale completely different on each
just
one.
Just get the measurements. Then you're just looking at 2 numbers and which one's the biggest.
Yeah, but I'm looking at a picture, a lot of visual representation of it, Sean. It looks like the Empire State Building is bigger. That's a shame.
Right, so the Shard is 310 metres.
Or 1,016 feet.
And the Empire State is 381 metres. Or 443 to the very tip.
Yeah, but you don't... that's including that big pole at the top.
No, I just said it's 381 or 443, including the tip.
The little tip. You always include that tip, boy.
Okay.
Rockefeller is 259 metres, so...
mine's the smallest.
Oh, go on.
What's yours?
The Whitgift Centre in Croydon.
A curb.
1 Canada Square in Canary Wharf.
So what was it? Sorry?
1 Canada Square, which is the It's one of the buildings in Canary Wharf with like
Canary Wharf, all right.
Little. It's the one with like the little black pyramid on the top of it.
How many meters is that?
236.
Damn.
I mean, okay, sorry. Yeah.
I mean, you know, like it's size isn't everything.
I always think of that. Like,
well,
I went to that building when I was a kid. My granddad took me there. Do you ever get that where you stand at the bottom of like a really tall building like that? You look up and you feel like fucking hell. Your legs go big time, doesn't it? You're like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah, Canary Wharf is actually one of the few places that has happened, but I haven't been for a long time. But yeah, I was in the middle of that. Well, in Canary Wharf, like looking up, and it's like, this is scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's happened for a while because I'm a big tall boy now.
There's the initial physical reaction is weird enough, but then it's like, oh yeah, because we literally weren't built to comprehend any of this. That's why it's fucked me up.
Yeah, there's way too much for my little tiny human brain.
Well, where have we gone on this podcast? This is a video game show.
Absolutely all over the
Too
shop.
many places, baby.
Should we wrap it up? I think it's time to wrap it up. Socials.
Yes. So TCGSCON tickets on sale. Pride merch on sale. I don't think I actually mentioned at the beginning, but that's on sale on our store.
We did.
tcgs.co/store. Loads of lovely Pride stuff on there, and we're raising money for Mermaids UK. We're doing a bunch of talksovers. This is what we've got scheduled currently. We've looked at all the lists, most of which we're not interested in, but at least one of us will be talking over Summer Games Fest. That's Thursday. Show starts at 6. We'll probably live at 10 to 6. Basically, Thursday, it's Summer Game Fest. Then after that, Day of the Devs. And then later on, Devolver. Probably start out about 10 to 11. That's Thursday. There's a few on Friday, Saturday. Probably not going to bother with them. We may do the odd ad hoc stream, possibly, but unlikely. But our next ones after that will be Sunday, where we're obviously going to talk over the Xbox show. We'll be live from 10 to 6. The main show starts at 6. And then, maybe not all of us, but a couple of us at least, will be talking over the PC gaming show. And that is from 10 to 8. On Sunday as well. So basically Thursday and Sunday, but there'll be loads of socials in the week. There'll be some, graphics and stuff to tell you what we're talking over. Those are the ones we're definitely going to do. Maybe some others, possibly unlikely, but they're on there. Go to twitch.tv/TCGSCO. Follow us on there. You get notified when we go live, or just find us on Twitter at TCGSCO, and you'll be notified. So that means there'll be no Sea of Friends and no Farley stream this week. So yeah, that's that.
No mention of my experimental streams. Episode 2 went out.
If you want to do one, David, how experimental are you feeling this week?
It's just the camera, just the camera and no gameplay.
Not just the camera. Yep.
Yes,
correct.
Do that.
It's not just the camera. It's the opposite of that. There's no camera. There's no camera.
No, but we're thinking mix it up a bit. Maybe just camera, no game.
Yeah.
That's
and it's still a stream of you playing the game. It's just that no one can see it.
I want to play the game, boy.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. I'm playing that game. It's just you don't get to see
If you want to see Dave's incredibly experimental streams, then they're both on our YouTube channel.
Yep, I might turn up.
Playing Banjo 2 with no cam. Speaking of Twitch and that, go to our Twitch account. If you combine your Twitch Prime account with your Amazon account, you get a Twitch Prime gaming sub for free. Go over to our account, give us a free sub. We mega appreciate it. We mentioned Patreon at the beginning. We'll be doing our bonus show at some point in the next couple of weeks, no doubt, and our talks over for the month. Go to patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support what we're doing over here. And the website is tcgs.co for everything else. Links to our socials, gorgeous Discord, store, possibly other things I can't remember. TCGSCon tickets. That's about it. But basically, keep an eye on our socials because we'll be doing some Summer Game Fest stuff.
That's enough. All right? Finished.
I love the
Thanks
music
for living it.
There.
Sarah, we'll see you in a few weeks in Sheffield.
Yeah, Matt. It's less than a month, isn't it?
Sounded a bit
less than a month. It really is less than a month.
Definitely didn't look at my booked holiday from work and spend 10 minutes trying to figure out what the 1st of July was booked off for.
Oh man, it's going to be so good.
What am I doing in July? Why do I need that Friday off?
I'll cancel it. I'll just cancel the leave. It can't be that important.
Rude.
I mean, I didn't.
Is that how you feel? We're instantly forgettable, are we now, Sarah? Are we?
No, I just have a literal brain disorder that means I have a brain like a sieve.
Oh, you're bringing up the brain disorder.
Oh, Dave's taking a piss out of that, isn't he? It's a bit out of order.
I'm playing that card.
Pretty harsh, Dave. Pretty harsh.
Ooh.
You're playing the brain disorder card.
Yeah.
Nice one. Well, we'll catch you.
I've got to take advantage of it where I can.
Right. We'll catch you next week for more video game chit chat. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Laters.
Bye-bye.
Bye.